The day I was diagnosed with terminal cancer, I quietly signed my body donation papers. Terminal. The whole world envied me for having a perfect wife. Sheng Qing. She built a natural oxygen bar just for me, won outrageously expensive watches for me at auctions, and publicly declared she'd love me until death. That is, until I found out she was keeping a male model on the side, who shares my exact name. And they even had a secret child together. Every time we were intimate, she'd always hug me from behind. Turns out, she just didn't want to look at my face. What she was trembling to touch was never me, but always just deep inside my chest. The heart that belonged to her precious first love. Once I'm dead, I'll donate my body and give his heart back to you. I erased every trace of my existence and quietly walked toward the end of my life. By the time Sheng Qing went completely insane looking for me, my dying words were already going viral all over the internet. Let me tell you a secret. Your little lover looks exactly like him, doesn't he? No one knows that I was supposed to die 5 years ago. The only reason is because someone donated a heart to me, which is the only thing that kept me alive until now. On the display screen in the medical school corridor, the latest episode of a top doctor's interview was playing. Sheng Qing, dressed in an elegant white gown, was smiling brightly as she talked about her husband. On the third day after meeting him, I proposed. He is the absolute love of my life. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have achieved any of the honors I have today. She raised her hand to the camera, showing off the dazzling wedding ring on her finger, and pressed a gentle kiss to it. Then, she made a heartfelt confession. Chen Wenjin. I love you. I will love you forever. The audience went wild, cheering and completely envious that I had found such an amazing wife who loved me to death. And it was true. For 5 years of marriage, Sheng Qing truly did love me to death. I have congenital heart disease. 5 years ago, I had a heart transplant. My lead surgeon back then was Sheng Qing. Right after my surgery, Sheng Qing took the initiative and started pursuing me relentlessly. During my recovery, she stayed by my side 24/7 to take care of me. She exhausted herself so much she lost almost 10 pounds. After we got married, she even hired 4 live-in caregivers just to look after me. She refused to let me lift a single finger. Worried that the air quality at home might affect my heart's recovery, Sheng Qing dropped a massive fortune to personally build a natural oxygen bar right inside our villa, just for me. Every single tree inside was carefully hand-picked by her. Between every 2 trees, she hung custom-made heart-shaped hammocks, saying it would make it easy for me to sit down and rest whenever I wanted. She even meticulously planted fresh turf, just so I could breathe the highest quality air every single day. Before marrying Sheng Qing, I used to be a watch designer. Knowing how much I loved collecting vintage watches, she would constantly fly me to auctions all over the world, just to buy every single vintage watch I liked. Because of my weak heart, I couldn't handle any intense physical activity. Plus, there was a huge risk of passing my condition on to our kids. Because of that, she took the initiative to sign a child-free agreement. She said she was perfectly fine never having kids, as long as she had me by her side. And just to give me peace of mind, she even went and got her tubes tied voluntarily, and transferred half of all her assets into my name. This whole thing made Sheng Qing's family absolutely furious, but she didn't care at all. She only wanted to be with me. The whole world kept saying that Sheng Qing was madly in love with Chen Wenjin. Even I was moved enough to believe it. Sheng Qing said she would die without me. And yes, she would die, but she wouldn't die for Chen Wenjin. She would die for the heart beating inside my chest. 3 months ago, I accidentally found out that Sheng Qing had a secret family. She was keeping a hot runway model on the side, and even had an IVF baby with that guy abroad. As for her so-called sterilization surgery, that was nothing but a lie. The only reason she didn't get pregnant all these years was because every time we finished, she would sneak off and drink orange juice spiked with birth control. But what broke me even more was when I suddenly discovered last month that Sheng Qing's love at first sight was a sham. It was all because the heart I received from my transplant years ago belonged to her dead first love, the one she couldn't have. And as for me and her lost love, we shared the exact same name. The only reason she was keeping that male model was because he had a face that looked exactly like the first love she lost. How pathetic. The love I believed in was nothing but a sick game of substitutes from the very beginning. Sheng Qing never loved me. She only loved this heart. Watching every beautiful memory get ripped to shreds, I didn't want to stay with her for another second. So, when I was diagnosed with terminal cancer and bone metastasis last month, I kept my mouth shut. I chose to suffer through it alone. Even after I die, I don't want my body anywhere near Sheng Qing. So, I signed the papers and decided to donate my body to science. Walking past a law firm, I had a lawyer draft up a divorce agreement, signed my name, and instructed them to deliver it to Sheng Qing in exactly 1 week. When I got home, I put my body donation papers into a box and buried it under the lawn Sheng Qing had planted herself. Right after I finished, Sheng Qing walked through the door carrying a gift box. Seeing my hands covered in dirt, she kissed me with this sickeningly sweet look, and pulled out her favorite Hermes scarf. Gently wiping the mud off my fingers. "Why are you acting like such a kid?" As she spoke, her lips brushed against my ear, softly tracing my earlobe. "Did you watch my interview today, Wenjin? I love you." I used to live for those 3 little words. But now, they just sounded disgusting. I couldn't even bring myself to answer her. I just pushed her away. "I'm a bit tired. I want to get some rest." The moment she heard that, panic flashed across her face. "What's wrong? You look pale. Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" I swatted her hand away. "No, I just didn't sleep well this morning." But she still looked worried. Her fingers instantly pressed against my chest, staring with burning intensity. "What about your heart? Does it feel uncomfortable?" A sharp pain hit my chest. Of course, she only cared about this damn heart. Well, if she loves it so much, then I'll just give it back to her. It hurts so much." I stared dead into her eyes. "My heart is killing me. What should I do?" Sheng Qing turned pale. She frantically pulled out her phone and dialed her private medical team. All these years just to take better care of my heart. She deliberately spent a fortune bringing in several top cardiologists from all over the world, having them on standby 24/7 just to look after me. I used to think it was because she loved me so deeply. But now that I know the truth, I just find it utterly ridiculous and ironic. Looking at Sheng Qing's anxious face, I pressed my hand against my chest. "It doesn't hurt anymore, I think. There's no need to call the doctor." I looked exhausted while Sheng Qing's face was full of concern. She reached out and slowly wrapped her arms around me. She held me so tight, as if she wanted to crush me right into her own body. "Wen Jin, are you sure it doesn't hurt anymore? You look really pale. Let's just have the doctor check on you, okay?" She was so close. I caught a faint scent of roses. I hate roses, because roses have thorns. I despise anything with thorns. I don't even use rose-scented cologne. It seems that before she came home, she had already gone to see that model, Li Jie. Forcing down the sharp pain in my chest, I slowly pushed her away. I used to crave this embrace so desperately, but now, I don't want it anymore. Looking up into Sheng Qing's eyes, I forced a stiff smile. "It really doesn't hurt anymore. I'm probably just tired from binge watching those shows lately. I'll be fine after a little rest." Sheng Qing was oblivious. She didn't notice the coldness in my eyes at all. Instead, she reached out and gently stroked my chest. Then, she leaned in and pressed a soft kiss against it. "Wen Jin, I'll be the one to protect your heart. Don't you worry. I won't let anything happen to you, no matter what." After saying that, she eagerly reached for a gift box nearby. She pulled out a beautifully exquisite jewelry case. When she opened it, inside lay a wildly expensive, fully diamond-encrusted watch. It was a one-of-a-kind vintage piece, the only one in the world. It was called the Only One. Legend has it that whoever wears it will become the happiest person in the world. The starting bid for this watch alone was 100 million. At the last auction, I hesitated for just 1 minute, and someone else snatched it up. I regretted losing it for the longest time. I can't believe Sheng Qing actually managed to buy it back. She took the watch out, her eyes sparkling with what looked like pure love. She stepped right up to me and fastened it around my wrist. The diamonds on the watch sparkled brilliantly. Then, Sheng Qing hugged me tightly from behind. Her lips traced down the back of my neck, all the way to my earlobe, heavy with desire. Even her voice was trembling. "Wen Jin, I love you. I really, really love you." She closed her eyes, breathing in the scent of my skin. Her slender, soft fingers slowly crept around to my chest. But my eyes were completely dead inside. I just gently pulled out of her embrace. "Qing, I'm really tired." For years, I had never once rejected Sheng Qing's advances. This was the very first time. She looked visibly stunned. Her gaze fell to my chest once again. "Wen Jin, why don't we just let the doctor take a look at you? I'm really worried." But the very next second, her phone started ringing. It was an unknown number. A flash of panic crossed Sheng Qing's eyes. She immediately hung up. "Why didn't you answer?" I asked, staring right at her. Sheng Qing froze for a second, trying desperately to hide the panic in her eyes. She reached out and wrapped her arms around my waist. I had lost a lot of weight recently, but she didn't even seem to notice. "Oh, it's nothing. Probably just a telemarketer. Just ignore it." After she said that, I could clearly see a flash of guilt in her eyes. And right at that moment, her phone rang again. Only this time, it was a WeChat voice call. The caller ID was saved as Diamond. Looking at that name, my heart felt like it was being brutally crushed into pieces. It seems that model is really important to her. As important as a diamond. Sheng Qing stared at the phone screen, and said to me in a panic, "It's a jeweler. I always buy your watches from him. Give me a second, darling. I need to take this call." After saying that, she hurried upstairs. Fighting back the heartache, I turned around and went back to my own bedroom. I quickly opened my laptop. The screen flashed to the video feed from Shang Qingyi's study. Ever since I found out Shang Qing was cheating, I bought a few hidden cameras and placed them in every corner of the house. I just wanted to see exactly how Shang Qing was deceiving me. In the video feed, Shang Qing was on a video call with Li Jie. It was a sharply contoured, extremely handsome face. Very young, and he clearly knew how to play the game. He was wearing a suit jacket but shockingly had nothing on underneath, showing off his firm, muscular chest. Putting on my headphones, I heard Li Jie's flirty voice. I don't care, you promised you'd buy me a diamond watch, but instead you took the limited edition watch that I helped you win at the auction and gave it to Chen Wenjin. I'm really mad, and I won't be easily coaxed. Be a good boy, AJ. Whatever watch you want, I will buy it for you. So it was Li Jie who went with her to the auction. She went to the auction with her side piece, and the watch she bought, she turned around and gave to me, her actual husband. How ridiculous. She holds a handful of candy and passes it out to everyone she meets. Yet she lied and told me that my piece was the sweetest. And I actually believed her for 5 whole years. A sharp pain pierced through my heart. It hurt so much that I clenched my fists tight. For a moment, I couldn't even catch my breath. I frantically grabbed the heart medication from the table and swallowed it in one big gulp. The bitter pills got stuck in my throat, and I had to strain my neck over and over just to choke them down. An overwhelming sense of impending death washed over me, and I had to push myself to the limit just to keep from collapsing. Then come over to see me this afternoon. I bought those shorts you like. They have a huge heart pattern on them. You definitely have to come see. Li Jie's voice was deep and seductive. Even through the screen, I could see the burning eagerness in Shang Qingyi's eyes. Okay, wait for me, I'll come over later. Oh, by the way, don't forget to drop our son off at my mom's place. I want it to be just the 2 of us today. In that moment, I felt like I had been struck by lightning. My face went completely pale. So, Shang Qing cheating with Li Jie, and having a secret child with him, her mother actually knew about it the whole time. She was even in on it, helping them take care of her illegitimate grandson. The sheer weight of this betrayal hit me so hard that I couldn't stop myself from dry heaving. I slammed the laptop shut and ran to the bathroom, vomiting violently, as if trying to purge all the sickening disgust from my body. Hearing the commotion, Shang Qing quickly rushed into the bathroom. Wenjin, what's wrong with you? Shang Qing didn't seem the least bit disgusted that I had thrown up all over the floor and just hugged me tightly from behind. Her eyes were filled with nothing but worry. Why are you throwing up so badly? I'll just call the doctor. I suddenly grabbed Shang Qingyi's hand. I looked up at her, my eyes hiding an endless sorrow. Qing, we've been together for 5 years now, haven't we? I blurted out the question completely out of the blue. Shang Qing sensed that something was off. That look in my eyes made a wave of panic rise in her chest. She reached out and hugged me tight, only then realizing just how much weight I seemed to have lost recently. She could feel my protruding bones right through my clothes. Wenjin, what's wrong? Are you upset? Have I been too busy lately? Am I not spending enough time with you? How about this? I'll take some time off next week. The weekend happens to be Christmas. Haven't you always wanted to go up north to see the snow? We'll find a place where it's snowing and I'll go with you. Listening to Shang Qing say that she would take time off for Christmas to watch the snow with me, my frail shoulders trembled. What Shang Qing didn't know was, I would only live until Christmas at the very most. There would never be any heavy northern snow for us. Not anymore. Why aren't you saying anything? Shang Qing was starting to panic. I shakily stood up, and slowly, I reached out my arms, wrapping them around her slim waist from behind. Resting my face against her back, I could hear Shang Qingyi's heartbeat. Thump, thump, beating incredibly fast. I could tell she was really panicked. Wenjin, what on earth is wrong? I was thinking lately, maybe we need to have a baby. If it's possible. I closed my eyes. Shang Qing, would you have a baby for me? Would you? I never actually wanted a child. It was just one final test. I wanted to see if, in Shang Qingyi's heart, I held even the slightest bit of weight. Shang Qingyi's body visibly trembled. She immediately turned around, even her voice shaking. What did you say? You want a baby? Wenjin, don't you know? Your heart condition means you really shouldn't have kids. If we have a baby, it might be hereditary. She didn't even hesitate for a second, telling me absolutely resolutely. If you want a child, we can go to an orphanage and adopt. Okay, sure enough. From the very beginning, she never wanted a child that was truly ours. All she wanted was that heart. The heart that belonged to her true love. As long as the heart kept beating, she still had her love. She still had her hope. The truth turned out to be so terribly cruel. Like thousands of knives, brutally stabbing into my body. My heart ached with a bitter pain. Fighting back my tears, I suddenly forced a smile at Shang Qing. Don't be scared. I was just tricking you. I'm just too bored, and wanted to scare you a bit. I don't want a child. You said you'd watch the falling snow with me on Christmas. Okay, when the time comes, I'll definitely give you a present. I said with absolute certainty, you'll definitely love it. I could see the muscles around Shang Qingyi's mouth stiffen for a second. Suddenly, she pulled me into a tight hug, burying her face in the crook of my neck. Wenjin, promise me, don't scare me like that. Don't you ever joke about your life. I can't handle jokes like that. She was completely serious, and so was I. I nodded hard. Okay, for the rest of my life. I will never gamble with my life again. Because starting today, I'm taking control of my own destiny, including this heart of mine. Just then, Shang Qingyi's phone buzzed. A barrage of WeChat messages flooded in. She looked away, too afraid to even glance at the screen. Instead, she stroked my hair and murmured softly, "Baby, I have another surgery to perform tonight. I won't be able to stay home with you. Be good, okay?" I just murmured a yes. I knew exactly where she was going, to coddle that young model boy toy of hers. I stood by the window, watching her car pull away. Then I went downstairs, hailed a cab, and told the driver to follow her. Before long, her car pulled up to a high-end neighborhood in the west of the city. The moment she stepped out, a handsome guy in a t-shirt and shorts ran over and threw his arms around her. That was Li Jie. I had to admit, he was incredibly built. Strikingly unforgettable. Shang Qing leaned back against her car, wrapping her arms around his waist without a second thought. Then, as if they were the only two people in the world, she met his lips. It was a deep, passionate kiss. Caught up in the heat of the moment, her hand slid all the way down to stroke his abs. The sight burned my eyes. Tears threatened to fall. 5 years. So this was the wild, carefree life she had been living all along. Because of my heart condition, whenever we slept together over the last 5 years, she was always so agonizingly gentle. She and I, we had never shared that kind of fiery passion. She would look at me with such tender pity and whisper, "Baby, I'm afraid I'll hurt you if I'm too rough." And she had this habit, whenever we made love, she always liked holding me from behind first. She would kiss my back over and over, pressing her hand against my heart as she murmured emotionally, "Wenjin, I love you. I'll love you for the rest of my life." I actually used to cry tears of joy over that. I truly thought I had found the love of my life. But now I see, the only reason she kissed me from behind, was so she wouldn't have to look at my face. The Wenjin she was calling out, wasn't me. It was her first love. And the reason she was cupping Li Jie's face and kissing him so desperately right now, was simply because she saw a reflection of her true love in him. How utterly cruel, and pathetic. I couldn't tear my eyes away as the two of them made out. They couldn't keep their hands off each other, stumbling from the front gate all the way inside. Tears betrayed me, spilling silently down my cheeks. This time, I'd rather die than be someone's stand-in ever again. Driver, take me to the Cloudwater Bay Villa. I was sick of watching Shang Qingyi's little romance. I needed to go to the Shang family estate. I wanted to see how the rest of her family would play me. Soon, the cab pulled up to the gates of Villa Number 1 at Cloudwater Bay. Ever since Shang Qing and I got married, my heart condition meant I couldn't have kids. Because of that, my mother-in-law refused to even look at me for over half a year. But later, she fell severely ill. She fell down the stairs and broke her leg, and I was the one who stepped up to care for her for months. That dedicated care was what finally warmed her up to me. When I reached the front door, I didn't ring the bell. I already knew the passcode. I punched the numbers in, pushed the door open, and slipped quietly inside. The moment I stepped in, I heard a burst of cheerful laughter coming from the back garden. It was my mother-in-law. "Be a good boy, Yuanbao. Stop hiding now. Grandma can't find you. Come on out and let Grandma look at you." Hearing the word grandma makes my heart ache with pure disgust. Just as I thought, the entire Shang family knew all along that Shang Qing was keeping a lover on the side. They had even accepted that illegitimate IVF baby of his a long time ago. But what sickens and breaks my heart the most, is that the kid's name is actually Yuanbao. 5 years ago, when I married Shang Qing with a heart full of love, we laid in bed on our wedding night and talked about having kids. A boy would be named Yuanbao, and a girl would be named Tuanzi. I can't believe she gave our name, Yuanbao, to this bastard child. Yuanbao, get over here. Uncle bought you an Ultraman toy. Isn't that your absolute favorite? It was Chen Lin's voice. My blood ran completely cold. Chen Lin had been my best friend for years, and he was also Shang Qingyi's closest cousin. Back in design school, Chen Lin and I were the most brilliant, youngest watch designers. Just 6 months ago, I even helped him finish a watch design for a $200 million order. I truly thought he was the most important friend of my life. But now, even he had betrayed me all along. My body shook from the freezing chill. I couldn't even tell what was real and what was fake anymore. Our love, my years of honest, heartfelt devotion, were all shattered to pieces in this single moment. Gone without a trace, I stood there, completely hollowed out and lost. Even though 25 degrees Celsius in Zhencheng was clearly warm weather, I was shivering from the cold. Just then, a little boy, maybe 3 or 4 years old, suddenly dashed out of the garden. He burst right into the yard, with Shang Qingyi's mother and Chen Lin chasing right behind him. Yuanbao, don't run off like that. Careful, don't fall. The three of them watched the little boy's back, their faces beaming with smiles. It looked like such a warm, perfect little family. Grandma. Yuanbao was the first one to spot me standing there in the yard. The moment they saw my figure, Shang Qingyi's mother and Chen Lin froze in panic. Especially Chen Lin. He was completely terrified, desperately forcing a stiff smile onto his face. He rushed over and grabbed my hand. My hand was freezing cold, but Chen Lin's was burning hot. I could literally feel the thick layer of nervous sweat on his palms. Wenjin, why didn't you tell us you were coming? I would have gone to pick you up. Chen Lin was rambling, tripping over his own words. He was so incredibly guilty. Terrified I might figure something out, so he quickly tried to explain. He's a friend's son. My friend had a crazy busy day at home today, so he asked me to watch him for the day. His friend was too busy? Busy sleeping with Shang Qing? It was utterly laughable, yet sickening. A dull, suffocating pain gripped my chest. Fighting through the agony, I fixed my eyes on the little boy. He had a face that looked 80 or 90% exactly like Shang Qingyi's. The pain made my whole body tremble. The boy felt my intense stare and immediately grabbed onto his grandma's hand. Grandma, who is that man? Shang's mother was sweating bullets, forcing an awkward laugh. Wenjin, this child is just a sweet talker. He just insists on calling me grandma, please don't take it to heart. But you really are my grandma. Shang's mother looked mortified. She could only shoot a desperate look at Chen Lin. Chen Lin grabbed my hand tightly. He could feel the cold sweat seeping from my palm. Wenjin, what's wrong? Why are you shaking? Is your heart acting up? Chen Lin was terrified, because he knew exactly how fragile my heart was. I muttered that I was fine, forcing myself upright as I pulled my hand from his grasp. And then I dropped a single sentence. This kid looks exactly like Shang Qing, doesn't he? Just that one short sentence plunged Shang's mother and Chen Lin straight into a living hell. They were terrified, because Shang Qing had warned them, no matter what happened, they could never let me find out about the secret lover and illegitimate child she was keeping on the side. My heart is weak, and she was afraid I wouldn't survive the shock. Chen Lin's face drained of color as he grabbed my arm again. He could feel me trembling, and a pang of guilt hit him. But he didn't dare say a word. He couldn't say a word. He had no choice but to lie again. Wenjin, this boy's mother is very beautiful. She just happens to look a bit like Shang Qing. But he really has absolutely nothing to do with Shang Qing. Please, don't overthink this. Shang's mother chimed in, yes, Wenjin. Your health isn't good. Please don't overthink it. This child really has absolutely no connection to Qing, nothing to do with her. Even at a moment like this, they were still lying to my face. My entire body felt terrifyingly cold. I was done watching them put on this act. I had seen enough, and I was exhausted. I raised my hand and violently shoved Chen Lin's hand away. The sheer panic in his eyes, along with his ashen face, was all the answer I needed. Fine, I won't overthink it. I just came home to visit. Since you're all doing so well, then I'll be leaving now. Wenjin, let me walk you out. Chen Lin chased after me. Wenjin, actually, his lips parted, but he swallowed his words. In the end, Shang Qing was just paying him too much. His family's pharmaceutical company relied entirely on the Shang Group's investments. There were some truths he simply couldn't afford to tell. Actually what? I stared right through him. Even at this very second, I was still praying Chen Lin would tell me the truth, so that at least before I died, I could find a tiny shred of peace. But Chen Lin just forced a smile and shook his head. It's nothing. I just wanted to say, Shang Qing really loves you. You need to cherish that. Cherish what? Cherish the fact that Shang Qing treated me as a pathetic stand-in for 5 years? Or cherish the fact that out there, she was keeping yet another stand-in? I raised my shaking hand and pressed it hard against my chest. I had still been clinging to one last sliver of hope, hoping Chen Lin's friendship meant something real. But it's all over now. How stupid. Chen Wenjin, you are so incredibly stupid. Another wave of pain tore through my chest. It hurt so much I felt like I was going to explode. I locked my eyes on Chen Lin. You're right, Shang Qing loves me very much. Don't worry, I'll cherish her for the rest of my life. But Chen Lin, do you know what it feels like when your heart shatters? Chen Lin went pale. Wenjin, what's wrong with you? Is your heart okay? I'm fine. I just wanted to tell you that if a person's heart breaks, it hurts. It can cost you your life. Because my heart has broken before. Whatever you do, don't let your heart break. It hurts. It really hurts. With that, I hailed a cab and quickly left the Shang family estate. Chen Lin panicked. He didn't understand why I had told him all that, but he knew something was very wrong. It sounded like a final goodbye. He immediately called Shang Qing. Shang Qing was busy rolling around in bed with Li Jie. The phone rang 3 times. Before she finally picked up, completely annoyed. Cousin, Chen Wenjin just came by the estate. He saw Yuanbao, and he said some really weird things to me. You need to get home right now. What did you just say? Chen Wenjin saw Yuanbao? Sheng Qing completely ignored Li Jie, who was still trying to cling to her. She grabbed her clothes, scrambled out of bed, and rushed straight home. At the same time, I got on the phone with the Capital Orphanage. I had already printed out the donation paperwork. After I die, I'm donating every single asset Sheng Qing transferred to my name straight to the orphanage. I refuse to leave a single cent to that homewrecker and his kid. Half an hour later, Sheng Qing came running into the house, drenched in sweat. The second she got through the door, she rushed upstairs, and pulled me into a crushing hug while I was sleeping. She was terrified of losing me. I was lying on my side. I didn't even realize when I had gotten so thin that my ribs were jutting out. Sheng Qing traced my sharp ribs, a look of deep heartache filling her dark eyes. She pressed her lips to my ear and whispered, Wenjin, you've lost weight. I felt so emotionally drained. I didn't even want to answer her, but she just kissed my earlobe, and slowly hovered over me, before kissing my lips with burning passion. The heavy scent of roses hit me again, and my mind was instantly flooded with images of her writhing in bed with Li Jie. A wave of pure disgust washed over me. I couldn't stop gagging. I shoved her off and bolted for the bathroom. I coughed up a huge mouthful of blood and immediately slammed the flush button. I ripped out some tissue paper, and right as Sheng Qing rushed into the bathroom, I wiped the blood off my lips. Seeing me heave so violently, she completely lost it. She whipped out her phone to call her private medical team, but I pushed her hand down. Don't. I just had something cold to eat, and it gave me a stomachache. I looked up, locking eyes with her. Didn't you say you had a surgery this afternoon? How are you back so soon? She must have just finished sleeping with Li Jie. A clear flash of guilt crossed Sheng Qing's eyes. She quickly masked it, grabbing my hand and pulling me into her arms. You didn't look well today. I was worried about you. I gave the surgery to someone else. I'm staying home with you tonight. Oh, by the way, Mom called me. She said you went back home. Her voice was full of probing, trying to catch any hint of a reaction on my face. I heard Chen Lin say that he brought his friend's son over to play. I heard the kid looks a bit like me. Have you met him? Does he look like me? Watching her lie and try to cover her tracks, it felt like a knife twisting in my chest. I clenched my fists. It's been 5 years. I trusted this woman so completely. Every single word she said, every single syllable, I believed her, but in the end, my heart was breaking and the bitter self-mockery in my eyes only grew deeper. Fighting back the sharp pain in my chest, I said casually, yeah, he does look a lot like you. Especially the eyes, but there are so many people who look alike in this world. So it's nothing too strange. Sheng Qing breathed a quiet sigh of relief. That night, she tried to kiss me from behind again, but this time, I rolled over. Under the dim, yellow light, I stared at Sheng Qing with eyes as sharp as stars. Look at me. I want you to look right at me. That was the very first time I ever demanded she look me in the eyes while we made love. Sheng Qing didn't understand why I was suddenly acting like this. She was completely shocked, but I was just like a moth to a flame, as if I wanted to burn myself down to ashes. I stared at her with fierce obsession. Sheng Qing, I want you to take a real good look at me. My name is Chen Wenjin. That whole night, Sheng Qing was forced to look deep into my eyes. They were eyes filled with the most unbearable, absolute sorrow. It made her feel an overwhelming, suffocating guilt all night long. The next morning, the moment I woke up, Sheng Qing's phone started ringing. She glanced down at the screen. She quickly hit reject, then pressed her ear against my chest, listening to my heartbeat over and over. Just a few minutes later, her phone rang again. Seeing that I was still fast asleep, she took a deep breath and slipped out to the study to take the video call. I got up, turned on my computer, and pulled up the security cameras. Sure enough, it was Li Jie calling again. Qing, didn't you promise to stay with me last night? You broke your word again. Weren't you supposed to check out the new underwear I bought? I don't care. You have to spend today with me and our son. Don't forget, today is his birthday. You even said you were going to give him a surprise. Our boy is waiting for it, you know. Saying that, Li Jie intentionally pulled down the V-neck of his pajamas, showing off his chest to Sheng Qing. I haven't forgotten. Don't worry. I've already booked out the biggest children's mall in Zhencheng. I'll pick you and him up for shopping later. Then I'll be waiting. She hung up the phone. Sheng Qing collected herself, then walked back into the bedroom. I lay there perfectly still. She pressed a kiss to my cheek. Wenjin, I'm heading to work now. Be a good boy and stay at home today. Oh, right. I might have to work late tonight. Don't wait up for dinner. Work late? Working late with Li Jie, more like. She sure has a lot of energy. How could one woman sleep with 2 men at the exact same time? Downstairs, her car started up, but this time, I didn't follow her. My heart was completely dead. I didn't want to know anything else about Sheng. anything to do with Ching and Lee Jae anymore. And yet, Lee Jae has no intention of letting me go. Just 2 hours after Shang Ching left, the news headlines exposed the mystery girlfriend of the popular model, Lee Jae. In the photo, Lee Jae was holding a baby, and beside him stood a very elegant and beautiful woman. Only the woman's back was shown. Even though it was just her back, it was enough to set the whole internet on fire. The news headline read, "Popular model secretly has a child for love and becomes a dad. Mystery boss lady celebrates her son's birthday." There were also 2 videos. One was Lee Jae running and playing with his son in the mall. A video of the father and son shopping casually. The other one was Lee Jae taking his son to release 900 koi fish at Chunshan Park for his birthday. No one knew all of this was arranged by Shang Ching, and Lee Jae also posted a video on his own channel. In the video, he was holding the baby, beaming with pure happiness. He pointed to the massive, one-of-a-kind blue diamond watch on his wrist and loudly bragged to the camera, "This is what my wife got at the Christie's auction to give to me." For this, she specifically flew to Paris last week. Last week, Shang Ching said she had a medical exchange conference in Paris and was gone for 3 days. It turns out she went with Lee Jae. My eyes stung with tears while Lee Jae continued to show off in the video. To pray for our son's blessings, my wife spent a fortune to buy 900 koi fish to release. She even said our son looks a lot like her, and she loves our boy so much. Oh, right, she is also throwing a personal fashion show for me at the city square tonight. We'll be picking 900 lucky people at the event, and giving each of them 10 grams of gold. She says doing this will bring blessings to our boy, so he'll live a long, long life. Make sure you all come and join the draw. This video completely blew up the internet. The comments were flooded with envy and speculation. Tell me, who exactly is Lee Jae's wife? Giving away gold to 900 people? That's insane money. She's definitely a total boss lady. Not gonna lie, I'm so jealous. First, she lets him swipe his card to clear out the mall. Then she releases koi fish, and now she's giving away gold. Give me a dozen boss ladies like her. But wait, why does the back in the photo look so familiar? It actually looks like Shang Ching, the head of Shang Pharmaceuticals. Don't talk nonsense. Shang Ching is the most devoted woman in Gen City. Everyone knows she's head over heels for her Mr. Chen. Exactly, she is literally the absolute best wife. Hey upstairs, stop spreading rumors. If Shang Ching cheated, then I will never believe in love again. I stared at this comment, and let out a weak, bitter laugh. Does love even exist in this world? It doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to die anyway. Nothing here has anything to do with me anymore. That afternoon, I took a trip to the orphanage and signed a donation agreement. I took the house and the car Shang Ching gave me, the stocks, all of these things, and donated every single bit of it to the Gen City orphanage. After all, I grew up in an orphanage myself. Rather than leaving all this money for her boy toy to spend, I might as well leave it for these orphans. At 8 o'clock that night, Gen City Square was absolutely packed with people. Shang Ching was throwing a high-profile personal fashion show for Lee Jae. She was going to hand out 900 gold bars. Such a grand gesture attracted countless people. Everyone wanted to see exactly which boss lady was spoiling her boy toy so much. I went too. On stage, Shang Ching wore a mask, making a high-profile appearance to back up Lee Jae. They gave everyone in the audience a number tag. I got number 88. Shang Ching was wearing a plunging black V-neck dress. Even with a mask on, she had the men in the crowd screaming over and over. That black dress was the gift I gave her for her birthday. She was wearing my gift to support her little side piece. My heart ached terribly. I could barely stand. Lee Jae was wearing a globally limited haute couture suit, proudly holding Shang Ching's arm, loudly broadcasting his happiness. I love you, wifey. Give me a kiss. Even though Shang Ching didn't take off her mask, she still threw her arms around Lee Jae's neck right in public and kissed him deeply. I watched them making out and couldn't bear it anymore. Just as I was about to leave, Lee Jae said happily, "Tonight, my wife has also prepared a mysterious grand prize. The person with the matching number will win a 7-day travel voucher to Bali." The spotlight locked onto Shang Ching. She casually drew a number. Number 88. The spotlight instantly fell on me. I looked up and locked eyes with Shang Ching. At that moment, her blood ran cold. She never expected it to be me. The crowd pushed me onto the stage. I don't even know how I managed to take the prize voucher from Shang Ching's hands. But I saw her trembling hands. She had never trembled in such pure panic before. I didn't expose her. Anyway, I'll be free very soon. We will never see each other again in this life. That night, Shang Ching suffered in absolute agony. She kept testing the waters over and over, trying to figure out whether I had recognized her on that stage. I pretended to be completely clueless, and even handed the travel voucher right to her, saying in a flat tone, "My health isn't good. I probably can't go to Bali. You take it and give it to someone else." Shang Ching still felt uneasy, but she couldn't explain why. For the next 3 days, she uncharacteristically went to work on time and stopped seeing Lee Jae. At night, she stayed home right by my side. This belated companionship was nothing but a guilty attempt to make up for things, trying to mend the rift she had torn open herself. But this made Lee Jae furious. He bombarded her with 20 or 30 phone calls every single day, constantly pushing her to come keep him and their child company. The more calls he made, the more his resentment grew like wild weeds. Eventually, he even tracked down my WeChat and started bombarding me with messages. He sent countless intimate photos of him and Sheng-Ching at home, and even attached a video of them making out in the bathtub, doing absolutely everything to provoke me. Chen Wenjin, you probably don't know yet, do you? You're nothing but a stand-in Sheng-Ching found. A pathetic loser using her first love's heart. She told me herself that she doesn't love you at all. She only loves that heart. Chen Wenjin, a stand-in, should know his damn place. If I were you, I would have packed up and got the hell out. She and I even have a son together. He looks exactly like her. Who in the Sheng family doesn't know about this? They even gave shares to my son. Chen Wenjin, do you know why Sheng-Ching never dares to look at your face when she kisses you? Because she's disgusted by you. She only sleeps with you, just to hear the beating of that heart. Chen Wenjin, you're absolutely nothing compared to me. I am her one true love. You've lost, completely and utterly. You don't even have the right to give her a child. You're just a pathetic, sickly mess. And any kid you'd have would just be a sick freak too. Every single word pierced right through my heart. Every sentence was dripping with poison, but I didn't even bother to respond. I'm about to leave this world anyway. These vicious words can't hurt me anymore, not even a little bit. I started erasing every single trace of my life with Sheng-Ching. The gifts she bought me over the years, the photos filled with fake, empty warmth. I burned them all to ashes. As for the precious antique watches, including that priceless, one-of-a-kind necklace, I sent every last piece to the auction house. Every single cent from the auction. I donated it all to kids in remote mountain villages. By the time I finished all of this, I was completely exhausted. I coughed up huge mouthfuls of blood. And tomorrow is Christmas. I dragged my broken, dying body to the store, brought home a Christmas tree, and decorated it with care. I hid my wedding ring inside the star at the very top. I wonder if Sheng-Ching will ever find it after I'm gone. But none of that matters anymore. I also scheduled a courier to deliver 2 very special gifts tomorrow. One for my good friend Chen Lin, and the other for that arrogant homewrecker, Lee Jae. Lee Jae is still dreaming of taking my place, completely clueless that he's just another pathetic stand-in. I'd really love to know, when he finally realizes the cruel truth, just what kind of priceless look he'll have on his face. Will he still be so cocky, believing that Sheng-Ching loves him to the bone? Finally, I took every single piece of evidence of their affair and scheduled it to post on my blog, right on Christmas Day. It's going to be the ultimate grand surprise for the both of them. Later that night, Sheng-Ching came home to have dinner with me. She told me she had 2 surgeries tonight and had to rush back to the hospital right after eating. But I knew the truth. She wasn't going to the hospital at all. She was just going to comfort Lee Jae, who'd been throwing a tantrum for days. Before she left, she held me close and whispered in my ear, Wenjin, tomorrow is Christmas. Wait for me, okay? I'll take the day off and we'll go watch the heavy snow together. I didn't say a word. I just reached out and gently fixed the collar of her dress. Then, I stood out on the balcony, watching her car disappear deep into the night. I turned around and went back inside. I left a letter on her vanity table, holding it down with a pen. Then, I called a moving company and had them clear out every single one of my personal belongings. I looked around the house I'd lived in for 5 long years. There wasn't a single trace left that I had ever been there. Staring at the photo on the vanity of Sheng-Ching smiling so brightly, I shed my very last tear. Sheng-Ching, I am finally free. I'm no longer anyone's pathetic stand-in. Since you love that heart so much, I'll give it right back to you, exactly the way I found it. My tears had dried up. I took one last look at this mansion, this beautiful cage, and walked away without a shred of hesitation. I went outside and caught a cab, heading to the only apartment I ever bought for myself in the city. It faces the ocean, with a breathtaking view. I sat out on the balcony all alone, my eyes fixed on the distant horizon, quietly feeling my life slipping away, ounce by ounce. That night, the city saw its first heavy snowfall in 30 years. As the snowflakes tangled in my hair, I just smiled, quietly. As dawn broke, I watched the swirling, heavy snow, coughing up mouthfuls of fresh blood as my vision slowly began to fade. With my very last breath, I sent my coordinates to the body donation center, so they could come and collect my body as soon as the sun came up. From now on, I will be body donor number 88 at Zhencheng Medical College. The snow fell relentlessly, getting heavier by the minute, blanketing the entire world in white. In my fading mind, every little memory of the past 5 years with Shang-Ching flashed before my eyes. I have loved and I have hated. But at this very moment, I am finally set free. Those endlessly haunting memories are slowly blurring away, finally merging with the pale, frozen earth. Shang-Ching, for all the lifetimes to come, you will never find Chen Wenjin again. This time is our eternal goodbye, in life or in death. We will never cross paths again. Meanwhile, over at Li Jie's villa, he was holding tightly onto Shang-Ching's waist, his eyes burning with deep desire. His heavy panting left her completely breathless and lost in the moment. Only when he was finally satisfied, did Li Jie lazily roll onto the large bed, turning his gaze toward the window. It's actually snowing. Seeing the heavy snow swirling outside, Li Jie's deep voice was filled with excitement. This is the first time in Zhencheng in 30 years. He climbed over, wrapped his arms around her slim waist, and kissed her cheek. Baby, in all my life, this is my very first time seeing snow in Zhencheng. Come out and watch the snow with me, won't you? But the moment Shang-Ching heard the word, snow, a sudden wave of panic hit her. She immediately remembered that today was Christmas. She had promised me that she would take time off to spend Christmas with me in the north, to watch the snow together. Yet Zhencheng had miraculously snowed overnight. She thought about how thrilled I would be to wake up to this. She quickly grabbed her dress from the bed and threw it on. Thinking she was getting ready to join him, Li Jie jumped up excitedly. He grabbed a Burberry trench coat from the closet and said with excitement, baby, a trench coat is absolutely perfect for the snow. You have to take lots of pictures of me later. I'm going to post them on Weibo. But Shang-Ching didn't say a word. She just kept a dark face, zipped up her dress, grabbed her phone, and rushed toward the door. Baby, why aren't you saying anything? Li Jie wrapped his arms tightly around her from behind. But that unexplainable panic in Shang-Ching's chest only grew stronger after seeing the heavy snow. She turned around and violently shoved him away. I can't stay with you. You can just call your manager and have her take your pictures. Today is Christmas. I promised I would take Wenjin to see the snow. A heavy snowfall like this. Wenjin is going to love it so much. Plus, it's Christmas today. She even prepared a special surprise for me. When I finally see it, I know I'll break into a huge smile. She loves it when I smile. As long as I smile, she feels completely happy. Shang-Ching's lips curled up into a soft, unconscious smile, completely unable to hide her eager anticipation. But that tender expression on her face deeply pierced Li Jie's heart. His jealousy toward me began to gnaw at him like a venomous snake. Li Jie wasn't going to just let this go. He tightly hugged Shang-Ching from behind again, his hands roaming restlessly over her body, pressing his entire body against hers. Baby, I just want you to stay with me. It rarely snows in Zhencheng. Our son hasn't built a snowman yet. Stay with me and let's build one for him, okay? Just one, please? Hearing about their son, Shang-Ching hesitated. Li Jie continued to pester her. Baby, just 1 hour at most. Stay with me, alright? In the end, Shang-Ching gave in. She stayed with Li Jie in the villa's large courtyard, and together they built a massive snowman. Li Jie pulled her by the arm and took a few loving photos in front of the snowman. Only then did he finally let go, completely satisfied. Alright, I should head back now. Shang-Ching adjusted her clothes, getting ready to go home. Just then, her phone suddenly rang. It was Mr. Qin from Zhencheng's largest auction house. She had previously asked him to keep an eye out for an antique sapphire watch called the Heart of the Ocean. That was the one collectible I had been dreaming of. She thought there was finally news. She hurriedly answered the call. However, Mr. Qin's very first sentence made her feel like she'd been struck by lightning, freezing her right in her tracks. What did you just say? Wen Jin hired you to sell all the antique watches I gave him? Including the only. How is that even possible? Wen Jin treasures those watches more than anything. How could he? On the other end of the phone, Mr. Chin's tone was absolute. The auction agreement was indeed signed by Mr. Chen himself. He even donated all the proceeds from the auction directly to charity. Shang-Ching's face instantly turned deathly pale. She couldn't understand why I would suddenly sell off every single watch. If it was just for charity, I could have easily used her money to make a donation. Why would I sell those deeply treasured collections? Those watches were the ultimate proof of our love. We traveled the world hand in hand, hunting them down piece by piece from auction houses everywhere. I cherished them so much that I personally designed a custom display box for every single one. Whenever I had time, I would carefully polish them. She remembered me saying, if mankind landed on the moon and could only bring one beloved item, I would choose my antique watches without a second thought. With such a deep attachment to them, how could I auction every last one off? Shang-Ching was thrown into absolute panic. She immediately told Mr. Qin, no matter the cost, you have to hold on to all of my husband's watches. I'm driving over to get them right now. Hanging up the phone, Shang-Ching, with trembling hands, dialed my number over and over again. but all she got was that cold, repetitive automated voice. The number you have dialed is currently powered off. The more she couldn't get through, the more frantically she kept redialing. Seeing the drastic change in her expression, Lee J. hurriedly grabbed her arm, asking with deep concern, "Baby, what's wrong? You look absolutely awful." Pale-faced, Sheng Qing shoved him away and muttered in distress, "Something must have happened to Wen Jin. I have to go home." She pushed him with so much force that Lee J fell right into the snow. Unwilling to give up, he scrambled to his feet and grabbed her from behind again. "Baby, what the hell is going on with you? Talk to me." But by now, Sheng Qing had completely lost her composure. She threw her arm out, shoved Lee J away fiercely, and screamed, "Get the hell away from me." Lee J was absolutely stunned by her crazed outburst. He had never seen Sheng Qing so furious before. This terrified him. He couldn't stop shaking, and with red eyes, he pleaded, "Baby, I'm just worried about you. What did I do wrong this time?" But Sheng Qing couldn't hear a single word. Her mind was completely consumed by thoughts of me. In our 5 years of marriage, I had never once ignored her calls. I've been so sick lately. Did his heart condition act up again? Sheng Qing's mind was a chaotic mess. All she wanted right now was to rush home, to see me immediately. She yanked the car door open. Refusing to give up, Lee J chased after her, wrapping his arms tightly around her to stop her from leaving. "Baby, please don't ignore me, okay? Let go of me. Something might have happened to Wen Jin. I have to go home, right now." Sheng Qing broke free from his grasp, muttering frantically, "Wen Jin sold all the watches I gave him. Even the unique. He must be in terrible trouble. I have to get home, now." Slamming the car door shut, Sheng Qing sped away from Lee J's house. However, a heavy snowstorm made the roads incredibly slick. What should have been a 30-minute drive took 2 full hours, and during those agonizing 2 hours, Sheng Qing desperately called my phone over and over again, but she couldn't get through. The moment she burst through the front door, she screamed, "Wen Jin. I'm home. Why did you sell all your watches?" But the massive, empty villa offered no reply. A dead, suffocating silence hung in the air. There wasn't even a trace of life. This absolute silence terrified her. She dashed up to the 2nd floor. The wall lamps in the bedroom were on, but the room was completely empty. Panic set in. In that hollow room, she could hear her own heart pounding wildly. "Wen Jin? Where are you?" Looking around, it suddenly hit her. The room felt far too bare. Cold sweat instantly broke out on her forehead. She practically sprinted to the closet, and threw the doors open with trembling hands. Inside, every single piece of my clothing had vanished without a trace. Only 2 of her nightgowns hung there, looking utterly lonely. She spun around. Every single trace of my existence had been wiped clean. In that moment, she completely lost it. She screamed at the top of her lungs, "Wen Jin, stop playing around. This isn't funny at all. Please, just come out, okay? We promised to spend Christmas together. Look, it's snowing in Zhencheng. Come out. I'll watch the snow with you, okay?" But the only answer was the biting, cold air. Sheng Qing's face turned deathly pale. We had been together for 5 years, and nothing like this had ever happened. A terrifying thought crept into her mind. Her body trembled violently, but she shook her head in desperate denial. "No, no, no. Wen Jin loves me so much. We're so in love. He would never leave me. He definitely wouldn't." Her eyes frantically scanned the room until her gaze landed on the vanity table. She spotted a letter. Written on the envelope in neat, formal strokes were the words, "To Sheng Qing." She snatched up the envelope. Her breathing suddenly ragged. Hands shaking violently, she tore it open. A piece of stationery fluttered to the floor, and dropping right beside it, was a photograph. It was our wedding photo. Only now, it had been ripped perfectly in half, leaving only her, totally alone in the frame. At that very moment, Sheng Qing's heart violently seized in her chest. She hunched over to pick up the letter, unfolding it with trembling hands. On the page, there were only a few short words. "Sheng Qing, thank you for protecting me these past 5 years. Even though what you were really guarding was just this heart inside my chest. I still want to thank you for giving me 5 years of pure joy. But now, you are free. And so am I. Please, don't come looking for me. I will give you all the answers you've been looking for. The past is like the wind. Just let it blow away. Between you and me, there is no love." That single line, "Between you and me, there is no love," exploded like a crack of thunder, leaving Sheng Qing trembling and weak in the knees. She could barely stay on her feet. Her eyes were completely wide with pure, shattering disbelief. 5 years ago, her first love was declared brain dead after a car crash. On that exact same day, my failing heart desperately needed a transplant. I happened to share the exact same name as her first love. Somewhere in the unseen, it felt like pure destiny. And so, she personally took her dead lover's heart and had it surgically placed into my chest. From that very moment on, she began chasing after me relentlessly. At first, I didn't believe in love and refused to let her in. But she stayed by my side, never leaving my sight for half a month. Exhausting herself and losing 8 pounds, which slowly melted my defenses. I finally accepted her. We got married shortly after. She admitted later that at first, she only wanted to stay close to her first love's heart. As long as she could hear it beating, she could pretend he wasn't dead, that he was still right there beside her. That's why every single night, she had to listen to my heartbeat to fall asleep. Even when we made love, she always preferred to hold me from behind, refusing to look me in the eyes. It was the only way she could feel at peace with herself. But a human heart isn't made of stone. Over these 5 long years, how could she possibly love nothing but an organ? Slowly, as she poured out her affection, she found herself drowning in the warmth I gave her in return. She had fallen for me completely. What she loved was no longer just a beating heart, but the man who had become one with it. The living, breathing Chen Wenjin. She genuinely thought that as long as she buried this secret deep down, I would never find out. She didn't even dare to imagine just how helpless and completely broken I felt the moment the agonizing truth came out. No wonder my health had been failing so rapidly these past few days, my face growing more haggard by the second. It turns out I had been suffering the agonizing torture of the truth over and over. The realization was driving Sheng Qing completely insane. She had to find me right away. She had to explain everything. She desperately wanted to tell me that she loved all of me, not just a borrowed heart. Panic-stricken, she yanked out her phone, stumbling frantically down the stairs toward the villa's backyard, while desperately dialing my best friend, Chen Lin. Here in the city, he is the only close friend I have. My parents passed away when I was young, leaving me with no other family. If I were to pack up and leave, the only place I could possibly go is Chen Lin's. But Chen Lin's phone just kept ringing, unanswered. As she reached the bottom of the stairs, her eyes swept across the room, and the chilling realization hit her, in every single framed photo of us. She was the only one left in the frame. I had completely burned away the parts of the photos that had me in them. Even the massive oil painting of our wedding hanging right in the middle of the living room had been cut down to just her, hanging completely, utterly alone on the wall. Panicking, she dashed straight for the backyard. That was the lush, private nature retreat she had built entirely for me. She had handpicked every single tree, and laid every inch of the grass with her own hands. The trees in the yard were still standing, but right in the empty space in the middle, a large Christmas tree had appeared out of nowhere. It was beautifully covered in gift boxes and glowing snowflake lights. It was clearly set up by me with so much care. In that brief moment, a massive wave of relief washed over her. She rushed over, throwing her arms desperately around the Christmas tree as she gasped for air. I just knew it. Wen Jin is just acting out. He's just not thinking straight right now. He loves me so much, there's no way he'd actually leave. This Christmas tree was the perfect proof. She could even picture me, trying to surprise her, working all alone in front of the tree. See? I was still madly in love with her. All she had to do was find me, explain everything, and everything would go back to normal. She casually pulled a gift box off a branch and opened it. Inside lay a single photograph. It was a picture of her and Li Jie at the city square, kissing passionately without a care in the world. Staring at the photo, Sheng Qingyi's face drained of color. She stumbled backward in utter disbelief, her blood running completely cold. Her affair with Li Jie had always been kept strictly under wraps. She had even forced a gag order on everyone around her. Anyone who dared to leak a word would pay a heavy price. That included Li Jie himself. She might play around for fun, but she would absolutely never let Li Jie show his face in front of me. She'd never let him ruin our marriage. She had covered her tracks flawlessly, so how did I find out? Trembling, Sheng Qing threw the photo aside and lunged at the tree, frantically ripping down the rest of the boxes. Her hands were cut by the strings, but she didn't even notice. Tears falling, she ripped the boxes open one by one, scattering dozens of photos all over the floor. Every single one was an intimate shot of her and Li Jie. In the car, at the office, in hotel rooms, even in our own home. There was even one of her and Li Jie taking the kids shopping. The photos were like daggers, making her eyes sting and turn completely red. Looking at the timestamps, I had known about her affair for 3 whole months. She didn't even dare to imagine how I had managed to hold myself back from confronting her all that time. And just how agonizing it must have been for me to face that cruel evidence every single day. What made it even more sickening for her was that over these past 3 months, she had been telling me every day, "Wen Jin, I love you so much. I can't live without you." She had even publicly confessed her love on live TV multiple times. She was terrified to think just how utterly disgusted and tortured I must have felt, listening to her fake devotion. I had just sat there, watching her put on a show every single day. For 3 whole months. In an instant, it felt like a million knives were carving up her heart. The pain made her entire body tremble. She couldn't even bring herself to look at the photos anymore. They were like needles, constantly reminding her of what a disgusting piece of trash she was. Just then, the front door clicked. Her eyes instantly lit up, thinking I had finally come home. She bolted toward the door like a madwoman, screaming, "Wen-jin. You're back. You're finally back. Please, just let me explain." But the person standing at the door wasn't me. It was our housekeeper, Chen. Seeing Chen, Shang-Ching charged at her like she'd lost her mind. Grabbing her arm in a death grip. "Where is he?" she demanded frantically. "Where did my husband go?" Chen was totally bewildered. "Ma'am, I just got here this morning. I have no idea where he went." "How could you not know? Aren't you supposed to be looking after him?" Shang-Ching's eyes flared with rage. She glared at the maid fiercely. "Did you hide him from me? I know he hates me right now. I know he doesn't want to see me. But I have to see him. I need to explain everything clearly. Please, tell me where he is." Sister Chen shook her head. "Ma'am, I really don't know. After you left yesterday, Sir gave all 4 of his helpers some time off. He said we had worked so hard lately, and told us to go home and get some good rest for a few days. He even gave each of us a bonus of 5,000 cash to go on a trip." Sister Chen wiped away her tears. "Sir is such a good man. His health has been so poor lately. He coughs every single day. I was so worried he wouldn't eat properly, that's why I braved the snow to come over so early this morning." Shang-Ching's pupils shrank in shock. "You said he's been coughing every day?" When she was home, why did she almost never hear it? She had only heard a cough or two occasionally, and I just assumed the air was dry and his throat was irritated. Sister Chen frowned. "Of course you wouldn't know. You've been so busy working the night shift these past few months. You're barely ever home to begin with. Sir was probably terrified of making you worry. Whenever you were home, he tried his absolute hardest to hold it in." Sister Chen's words pierced Shang-Ching's heart like a jagged blade. It was true. Over these past 3 months, the times I stayed home to be with him grew fewer and fewer. I claimed I was working the night shift, but in reality, I was out keeping Li Jie and his child company. I'm such a monster. Wen-jin is so sick, and I was completely oblivious. "Wait, what else?" Sister Chen hesitated, her face pale with conflict. Shang-Ching pressed her immediately. "What else is there? Tell me, as long as it's about my husband. You cannot hide a single word from me." Sister Chen hesitated for a moment, staring at her earnestly. "Ma'am, if you have the time, please, take Sir to the hospital for a thorough full-body checkup. I don't care how important your work is, please, just spend some more time with him. Sir has been so unbearably lonely these past 3 months. He's always sitting outside by himself, sighing under the tree in the backyard." "What exactly are you trying to say?" Shang-Ching locked eyes with her, her lips trembling. "Why are you telling me to take him for a checkup? What did you find?" Sister Chen looked terrified. Tell me right now. Don't you dare lie to me." Shang-Ching's fingers dug intensely into Sister Chen's arm. Only then did Sister Chen speak. "I recently saw that when Sir coughs, he coughs up blood. And, haven't you noticed? The hair he has on his head right now, it's actually a custom-made wig." "What did you just say? He's coughing up blood? Wearing a wig?" All the color drained from Shang-Ching's face. Sister Chen nodded tearfully. "I only stumbled upon it a couple of days ago. Sir has been losing his hair in massive clumps lately. While cleaning the bathroom, I've caught him several times scooping up the fallen hair. He stuffs it all into a bag and hides it away. I even accidentally saw him putting the wig on in the bathroom." Sister Chen's eyes were brimming with pure distress. "Tell me, how does a perfectly healthy man just suddenly start coughing up blood and losing his hair? Ma'am, you really need to make more time for him. You and Sir don't have any children. In his entire world, you are literally all he has. If even you stop caring for him, then who else is left to care about him? Also, haven't you noticed how much weight Sir has lost lately? You go to work every single day and then you don't even come home at night. He's been eating less and less. It went from a full bowl of rice to now, he can't even force down half a bowl." Listening to Sister Chen's words, Shang-Ching was shaken to her core, completely unable to snap out of it. She was a medical student, she knew better than anyone else. Coughing up blood, losing hair, rapid weight loss, she knew exactly what these symptoms meant. And yet she, the wife who kept claiming she loved him, hadn't noticed a single thing. Shang-Ching's face turned deathly pale. A suffocating despair wrapped tightly around her, threatening to tear her apart. Suddenly, her phone rang. It was Chen Lin. She answered it frantically, like a drowning woman clutching at a lifeline. "Chen Lin, do you know where Wen-jin?" But before she could even finish, she heard Chen Lin's tearful voice. "Shang-Ching, Wen-jin, he knows everything. I'm so sorry to him. I deserve to die. I knew you were having an affair with Li Jie, and I still helped you hide it from him." On the other end of the line, Chen Lin fought back his sobs, his voice choked with agony. "Wen-jin has known for a long time. He knows you cheated. He knows you had a secret child with that man. He knows absolutely everything. Chen Lin was drowning in regret at that moment. In this world, his best friend was only me. We had met at a watch design convention. His pencil had broken, and I was the one who snapped mine in half to share it with him. After that, we slowly became close. He admired my talent for design, and I helped him out a lot with his own work. I even helped him land a 200 million design contract. We became the best of friends, sharing absolutely everything. Later on, I married Sheng Qing, and he married his sweet first love. Everything was going perfectly, but then, his wife developed a severe gambling addiction, and racked up a massive amount of debt. Not only that, his pharmaceutical company was on the verge of going under due to funding issues. He begged me for help. I pleaded with Sheng Qing on his behalf, and it was she who helped him get back on his feet. And ever since that moment, he owed Sheng Qing a massive favor. Later, he accidentally discovered that Sheng Qing was keeping a male model on the side, and had even used IVF to have a secret child with him. He wanted to tell me at the time, but Sheng Qing conveniently invested another 300 million into his company. It was those 300 million that bought his silence. Now, he was consumed by guilt. If he had known it would come to this, he would have told me the truth right away. I had treated him so well. How could he betray me? Consumed by agony, Chen Lin rasped out. I just got the Christmas gift Wen Jin sent me. He said he never wants to see me again for the rest of his life. I'll never be his friend again. Sheng Qing, this is all your fault. You swore up and down that you loved Wen Jin, yet you were out keeping another man and having his baby. Basking in the warmth of a whole second family. Don't you think that's sickeningly ironic? Hearing Chen Lin's words, the very last flicker of hope in Sheng Qing's heart was brutally snuffed out. She collapsed onto the sofa. She had thought I would go to Chen Lin, but I didn't. I already knew about his betrayal too. In this whole world, the friend I cared about the most was Chen Lin. Yet she had permanently stained our friendship with a filth that could never be washed away. She couldn't even dare to imagine how I had survived these past 3 months, bearing the double betrayal of both love and friendship. And where could I possibly go now? An overwhelming sense of despair practically crushed her. She gripped her phone until her knuckles turned white. Chen Lin, please, think carefully. Other than you, who else would Wen Jin go to? What happened to Wen Jin? Chen Lin's voice spiked with panic. He still didn't know that I had left home. Sheng Qing rubbed her temples, her voice trembling. Wen Jin, he's gone. He left the house. I thought he would have gone to you. Chen Lin was frantic. He didn't come to me. He just had a courier drop off a Christmas present. The note said he's returning every single gift I've given him over the years. Even our photos. He told me to stop looking for him, saying he's not worthy of seeing me anymore. Chen Lin's grief quickly turned into rage. He roared into the phone, Sheng Qing. If you hadn't cheated on him, why the hell would Wenjin leave? You even dumped that other man's kid on your mom to raise. Wenjin saw everything. Sheng Qing, you kept swearing up and down that you loved him, saying you'd die without him. Is this your sick version of love? You couldn't even keep your pants zipped, and you have the nerve to talk about romance? I feel absolutely sick for him. Chen Lin was drowning in regret. If he had known it would end up like this, he definitely would have told me everything. But there's no magic cure for regret. It's all just too damn late. Sheng Qing grabbed her head in agony. It's too late to say any of this now. Please, just help me figure out where else he could have gone. Her eyes were burning red. His health is terribly bad right now. I have to find him, immediately. Please, think hard. The orphanage, Chen Lin's voice trembled. He grew up in the Zhencheng orphanage. He might have gone back there. Before Chen Lin could even finish, Sheng Qing sprinted out of the villa like a madwoman. The second she burst through the gates, a car screeched to a halt right in front of her. A man in a sharp suit stood blocking her path. Excuse me, are you Ms. Sheng Qing? Sheng Qing glared at him, waving him off frantically. Get out of my way. I don't have time to talk to you. Right now, her mind was completely consumed by me. She only wanted to find me immediately. But the man didn't back down. Instead, he snapped open his briefcase, pulled out a document, and handed it to her. Ms. Sheng, my name is Yang. I am the lawyer representing Mr. Chen. These are the divorce papers Mr. Chen instructed me to deliver. Please review them. If you have no objections, please sign. Hearing the words divorce papers, it felt like a bomb had gone off in Sheng Qing's head. With violently shaking hands, she grabbed lawyer Yang tightly by the collar. What did you just say? Divorce? Wenjin wants to divorce me? The massive blow sent Sheng Qing staggering backward. She couldn't believe I would actually ask for a divorce, let alone have the papers already drawn up. We had weathered every storm together for 5 years. I had loved her so deeply. How could we get a divorce? She still vividly remembered how, when exchanging rings at our wedding 5 years ago, she had cried and vowed to spend the rest of her life with me. And I had knelt down, promising to love her forever, to stay by her side. We hadn't even finished walking through this lifetime together. She absolutely refused to believe that I would abandon her. Sheng Qing's eyes were bloodshot as she stared dead at lawyer Yang. Impossible. Wenjin would never divorce me. He's just trying to scare me, right? You tell him I was wrong. I admit my mistakes. From now on, I will never, ever contact Lee Jae again. Just, please tell him to come home, okay? I'll give him whatever he wants, as long as he comes back. Lawyer Yang was completely baffled. Miss Sheng, you've misunderstood. I have no idea where Mr. Chen is. He came to the firm a week ago and asked me to draft this divorce agreement. He instructed me to bring it to you to sign after exactly 7 days. Lawyer Yang flipped to the last page of the agreement. Mr. Chen has already signed it. Sheng Qing snatched the agreement right out of his hands. Her hands trembled as she muttered, "No. This is impossible. This can't be real. Wenjin loves me so much, how could he? No, he must be trying to scare me." However, right before her eyes, it was written clearly in black and white. Aside from taking the property she had gifted me, I asked for absolutely nothing else. And on the last page, that was undeniably my own signature. In an instant, overwhelming despair trapped Sheng Qing like a massive net, wrapping tightly around her and suffocating her. She quickly grabbed the railing by the door, barely managing to stay on her feet. From the day she married me, she had never once thought about divorce. Yet, I was the one who let go first. Lawyer Yang then handed her a letter. Mr. Chen left instructions. He said that if you refused to sign the agreement, I was to give you this letter. He said you would definitely agree once you read it. Sheng Qing desperately snatched the envelope. Hunched over, she trembled as she tried to tear it open. Maybe it was the freezing cold, but her stiff fingers just wouldn't listen to her. The envelope dropped onto the snow. Lawyer Yang bent down, picked it up, and opened it for her. He handed her the letter. She grabbed it and stared at it intently. Sheng Qing, thank you for personally operating on me 5 years ago, for snatching me back from death and giving me 5 more years to live. I owe my life to you, but you only saved me, just to keep your true love alive. I don't know if, every time you looked at me, you were actually seeing me, or just seeing him. Sheng Qing, I really thought you loved me. I was so deeply moved by your devotion. I even thought that a pathetic orphan like me, who had never known love, could actually have the best romance in the world. You have no idea how incredibly happy I was back then. Every single morning, I thanked God for bringing you to me. I honestly thought I was the luckiest man alive. But sadly, beneath all that happiness was nothing but tragedy. Only at the very end did I finally understand. I was nothing but a stand-in. I never understood why you always wanted to kiss me from behind when we made love. But now I get it. You just didn't want to look at my face. You were just trying to feel your true love's heartbeat. And I was like an absolute fool, stupidly believing that all that love was meant for me. Sheng Qing, you are so incredibly cruel. You gave me hope, only to push me right back into endless darkness. I wish so badly that I had just died from that heart condition 5 years ago. At least then, I wouldn't have to face your cruelty, and I wouldn't have to watch you being so affectionate with another man. Or having his baby through IVF. You said we shouldn't have kids for the sake of my health. And you even went and got your tubes tied. I actually believed you, but it turns out you were secretly taking birth control pills every time, and then went to another man for IVF. Sheng Qing, is this what your love looks like? I'm truly pathetic, but you're even more pitiful. Spending your whole life chasing the shadow of your first love. If you still have even a shred of guilt, then just sign the papers. Maybe, this is just our fate. You saved my life once, so now, I'm giving it back to you. For the rest of our lives, we will never see each other again. Seeing those words, never see each other again, Sheng Qing's blood ran completely cold. She finally realized, I knew absolutely everything, about her first love's heart condition, about her affair with Lee Jae, and even the baby. The birth control pills, I knew about all of it. Sheng Qing clutched the letter tightly, her legs giving out in that very moment. She collapsed into the snow, her eyes bloodshot, staring intensely at every single word. It was as if she could see the sheer resolve in my tears as I wrote that letter. I'm such a piece of trash. She raised her hand and slapped herself hard across the face, but she felt no pain on her cheek, only a paralyzing numbness taking over her entire body. Her heart was breaking wide open. Only then did it finally hit her. She couldn't leave me at all. She simply couldn't live without me, and she absolutely could not get a divorce. Just then, Chen Lin came rushing over. Seeing her slumped there in the snow, Chen Lin began to tremble all over. Did you find him? Did you find Wenjin? Then, Chen Lin caught sight of the divorce papers in her hand. A flash of pure shock crossed his eyes. He snatched the papers and flipped to the last page. Right there, staring back at him, was my signature. Chen Lin's voice shook violently. Wenjin wants a divorce? He was utterly stunned. After all, the woman I loved most in this world was Sheng Qing. 3 years ago, when we were traveling in France and got into that awful car crash, I was the one who risked my own life to push her out of the way. It left me with broken bones, bedridden for 3 whole months. Back then, Chen Lin had asked me, If, in the split second I pushed her away, I ever thought I might die. He still remembered my answer so clearly. I told him, Shang Qing saved my life once. And she loves me so incredibly much. How could I not repay her? In this whole wide world, only you and Shang Qing are worth risking my life to protect. Remembering those words now, Chen Lin's chest tightened in agonizing pain, feeling as if his heart would shatter. He and Shang Qing, they never deserved the love and friendship I gave them. They completely betrayed my devotion. They deserved to burn in hell for what they did. If I hadn't been pushed to the absolute edge of despair, how could I, someone who loved her so deeply, ever ask for a divorce? Shang Qing's eyes burned bright red. She ripped the papers right out of Chen Lin's hands and tore them to shreds. The pieces scattered wildly into the snow. Lawyer Yang panicked. Ms. Sheng, you can't just destroy my client's documents. But Shang Qing was acting like a total lunatic. She grabbed Lawyer Yang fiercely by the collar, spitting out every word with a freezing glare. Listen to me very carefully. I am absolutely not divorcing Chen Wenjin. I would rather die than divorce him. If he wants me to sign these papers, then tell him to come see me himself. But, little did she know, I had already died in the heavy snow that very morning. I refused to let her see me, not even my lifeless body. Get out. Get the hell out right now. Shang Qing screamed in a manic frenzy, glaring daggers at Lawyer Yang. She was on the absolute brink of a breakdown, her entire body reeling in agony as if she were enduring a death by 1,000 cuts. Right now, all she wants is to find me immediately. She'd fall to her knees to explain everything. That first love's heart doesn't even matter anymore, it's just a heart. How could it ever hold a 5-year marriage together? The one she truly loves is Chen Wenjin. It's a pity she has no one left to pour her heart out to. Chen Lin sent Attorney Yang away. He was starting to panic, too. Where on earth did I go? He handed the letter I left for him to Shang Qing. Take a look at this. Wenjin left this for me. Shang Qing opened the letter. Right now, she was desperate to hold on to anything and everything that had to do with me. Hoping to find some kind of clue. The letter I left for Chen Lin was incredibly short. Chen Lin, thank you for being there for me all these years. I always thought you were the one person in this world who treated me best, besides Shang Qing. You knew I was an orphan, but you never once looked down on me. We used to be so close, such great friends. But life is just too incredibly cruel. If only I hadn't seen you with Li Jie's kid. How nice that would have been. But unfortunately, I saw everything. I just don't get it. Why did you cover for Shang Qing? Why did you even help that other guy hide the truth from me? Forget it. I don't even want to know anymore. None of it matters to me now. Chen Lin, we chose the beginning of this friendship together. So let me be the one to decide how it ends. Let's never cross paths again in this lifetime. We're not friends anymore, but I still wish you the best. After all, there was a time when you were the only one I could lean on. Shang Qing's hands were shaking. I was truly cutting off my friendship with Chen Lin. And whether it was to Chen Lin or to her, I had promised we would never meet again. A heavy, ominous feeling suddenly washed over her. The dread was so suffocating. She couldn't even bring herself to speak. She had to find me, right this second. Let's go. To the orphanage first, it's our last hope. Shang Qing was shaking too violently to drive, and Chen Lin was far too dazed to get behind the wheel. They flagged down a cab and headed straight for the Zhencheng orphanage. A massive blizzard was raging outside. It took them 4 agonizing hours just to arrive. To Shang Qing, those 4 hours dragged on like a bitter, endless century. For the very first time, she realized just how tortuous time could be. Inside Director Song's office at the orphanage, Shang Qing's voice broke. What did you just say? She completely refused to believe that Wenjin hadn't been there. I didn't have any family in Zhencheng. Aside from Chen Lin's place, the orphanage was the only place I could possibly go. She gripped Director Song's hand in sheer panic, completely losing her composure. Director, you hid Wenjin here, didn't you? I know he has to be here. He's just throwing a tantrum. We're going to make up, I promise. Please, just let him come out, okay? I'll explain everything to him. I'll get on my knees and beg for his forgiveness. She choked on her tears, her eyes bloodshot. Chen Lin was just as terrified. He grabbed Director Song's arm. Director, Wenjin is sick. He can't handle all this pain on his own. His heart is going to give out. If you know where he is, please, you have to tell us. We need to find him right now. We really cannot let anything happen to him. Dean Song was completely baffled. She had absolutely no idea what was going on. She shook her head. Dr. Sheng, Mr. Chen, Wenjin really hasn't been here today, and I'm not hiding him either. However, Wenjin did come looking for me a few days ago. He donated a massive amount of money to the orphanage. When? What day? Shang Qing's eyes suddenly lit up. Clutching Dean Song's hands tightly as if grasping a lifeline, Dean Song thought for a moment. The day before yesterday, I believe. The afternoon of the day before yesterday, he suddenly came to me and said he wanted to make a donation. The day before yesterday? Shang Qing looked as if she had been struck by lightning. That was the exact day she had accompanied Li Jie to celebrate the child's birthday. She remembered, that night she had hosted a grand event for Li Jie at the city plaza, giving away gold bars on the spot, and the lucky audience member she drew was exactly me. She had tested me before, assuming I hadn't realized it was her up on that stage. Now, it seems, I had known it was her all along. Oh, God, she didn't even dare to imagine just how agonizing and utterly desperate I must have felt in that moment. I was right there in the crowd, watching her kiss Li Jie with my very own eyes. She even handed me the prize herself, passing me the travel vouchers. Dr. Sheng, did you really not know about this? Dean Song immediately pulled the donation agreement from her drawer and handed it to Sheng Qing. Sheng Qing snatched it, her eyes locked onto the agreement. I had actually given away every single asset she had ever gifted me. The houses, the cars, the stocks. Absolutely everything. I donated it all to the Zhencheng orphanage. At that moment, Sheng Qing's face turned deathly pale, breaking out in a cold sweat. She wasn't agonizing over the money. Rather, from this very agreement, she saw my absolute resolve. I didn't want anything anymore. All I wanted was to leave her. Dean Song saw how devastated she looked, and looked completely bewildered. Dr. Sheng, you didn't know about this? How could that be? You and Wenjin are so deeply in love, didn't he tell you? Chen Lin grabbed the agreement, also breaking out into a cold sweat as he read it. Panic instantly gripped his heart. I truly didn't want anything anymore. I didn't want Sheng Qing's love. I didn't want Chen Lin's friendship, and I didn't even keep a single cent for myself. But how can a person survive in this world without money? No matter how much I hated Sheng Qing, I wouldn't just donate every single asset I had. Without money or a place to live, how was I supposed to survive? A terrifying sixth sense told him that my departure wasn't just a simple breakup. It felt much more like a final farewell. Reaching this conclusion, Chen Lin was scared absolutely stiff. He urgently asked Dean Song, Dean, when Wenjin came to see you, did he say anything at all? Dean Song thought back for a moment. At the time, I asked him why he was donating every last bit of his assets. He told me he simply didn't need money anymore. Dean Song frowned, muttering to herself, as long as a person is alive, how could they not need money? Unless, at this thought, Dean Song's pupils suddenly shrank in horror. No, that's impossible. Wenjin has always been so positive and optimistic. Back when he got heart disease, having to stay in the hospital for months every single year. The backs of his hands barely had an inch of skin left for needles. Even in all that agony, he fought so hard to live. Not to mention, he married the love of his life. Everyone in the city knows how deeply you love him, Dr. Sheng. Everyone envied his happy life. Why would he ever do something so unthinkable? No, he definitely wouldn't. Director Song shook her head. She had no idea that her words had almost completely shattered Sheng Qing's very last mental defense. The one lifeline she finally managed to grasp snapped in an instant. She refused to believe I'd take my own life. Wenjin must just be hiding. Right, he must just be hiding. Sheng Qing muttered to herself, her face deathly pale. Oh, right, there's a wishing tree on the playground of our orphanage. When Wenjin came that day, he stood under it all alone for a really long time. Maybe he hung a wish on the tree. Let's go look. Sheng Qing broke into a run, sprinting straight for the wishing tree. Chen Lin and Director Song hurried after her. Watching Sheng Qing completely lose control, Director Song turned to Chen Lin. What on earth happened to Dr. Sheng? Something happened between her and Wenjin, Chen Lin said, his eyes rimmed red. Wenjin wants a divorce from Sheng Qing. But why? Director Song couldn't understand it at all. Everyone in the city knew just how much Sheng Qing loved me. You could grab literally anyone on the street, and they'd be able to list off all the romantic things she'd done for me. And yet, I wanted a divorce. Director Song just couldn't wrap her head around it. But Chen Lin understood perfectly. Sheng Qing's betrayal had wounded me way too deeply. I was a perfectionist. The love I had so fiercely protected was pure and flawless in my heart. But now, it had been completely defiled by Sheng Qing's affair, twisted beyond recognition. How could I possibly live out the rest of my days clinging to a shattered romance? I had far too much pride for that. I would never accept a tainted love like that. Sheng Qing stood under the wishing tree. The branches were heavy with clusters of wishing charms, each one holding a heartfelt wish from the orphanage kids. I want a mommy. I want to wear a pretty princess dress. I want to go to Shanghai Disney. Sifting through all those innocent hopes, Sheng Qing frantically searched for a familiar handwriting. Suddenly, a familiar stroke caught her eye. Her gaze locked onto it. She reached up and pulled down the wishing charm. The ink was already yellowed with age. It must have been written by me, over a decade ago. I want a family. It doesn't need to be big. Just as long as someone loves me, that's enough. Signed, Chen Wenjin. Sheng Qing's eyes instantly welled with tears. From the very beginning to the bitter end, all I ever yearned for was simply to be loved. Yet, she had completely defiled that love. Her tears spilled over, melting into the cold snow. Chen Lin stepped closer, too. Seeing my familiar handwriting, his eyes reddened. All he ever wanted was just a love to call his own. Shang Qing, you and I, we really are awful people. Shang Qing said nothing, just cradled the wishing charm in her palm. But no matter how desperately she tried to warm it, the charm remained bitterly cold. She looked up and kept searching. Not far away, she spotted another wishing charm that belonged to me. She pulled it down. On it, it read, "To win the heart of a single soul and never part till our hair turns white." I wish that Shang Qing and I will never, ever be apart, in this life and the next. However, the words never be apart had been violently crossed out with a massive X. Scrawled right above them was a new line. I wish that Shang Qing and I will never, ever meet again, in this life and all the lives to come. Staring at those words, never meet again in all the lives to come, a searing pain ripped through Shang Qing's heart. Only now does she realize that betraying a true heart really does condemn you to hell. I truly don't want her anymore. I never, ever want to see her again. Meanwhile, Chen Lin found another wishing tag. It was completely brand new, clearly hung up just a day or two ago. On it, it said, "In my next life, I pray I never meet Chen Lin again. And especially not Shang Qing. If possible, I just want to become a stone. No heart, and no love." Chen Lin stared at the handwriting, his heart breaking beyond repair. He raised his hand and slapped himself hard across the face. "You piece of trash, Chen Lin." The words "next life" on that wishing tag filled him with sheer panic. Shang Qing was already in so much agony she couldn't even stand. Slumped against the tree, she wept uncontrollably. "Wenjin, I am so sorry. Please, just come back to me, okay? I'm begging you, please come back. I really can't take this anymore." She couldn't find me anywhere, and her heart was completely hollowed out. She felt like she couldn't go on living. She turned to Chen Lin and asked, "Do you think Wenjin will ever forgive me?" Chen Lin, with red, tear-filled eyes, stayed silent. He didn't know the answer, because there was no answer. At that exact moment, my body had already been transported to the medical college. Following the donor agreement I signed, my heart was about to be removed, and I would become a silent mentor, a body without a heart. Finding absolutely nothing at the orphanage, Shang Qing completely lost her mind. She started frantically calling everyone who knew me, over and over, desperate for a single clue. But nobody knew anything about me. It was as if I had vanished from the face of the earth overnight. Refusing to give up, Shang Qing contacted her friends in the police force, begging them to check the airports, train stations, and every single exit out of the city. Now, there was only one place left she hadn't checked. The one place she dreaded facing the most. Sister Chen had mentioned my terrible insomnia, my severe hair loss, and even my coughing up blood. Perhaps she could find her answers at the hospital. Shang Qing called up her contacts in the medical network, pleading for their help to track me down. Soon enough, someone sent word that I had been a patient at the Third People's Hospital. It was Shang Qing's absolute last hope. She and Chen Lin rushed straight to the hospital. Meanwhile, Li Jie also received the Christmas gift I had prepared for him. When the delivery guy dropped it off, he saw the sender's name was Chen Wenjin. A flash of sheer panic crossed his eyes, but once the panic faded, he quickly smirked, letting out a cold laugh. "Chen Wenjin, are you trying to humiliate me by sending this package? Let's just see what kind of garbage you sent." Li Jie sat down on the sofa, and leisurely tore open the box. Inside, there was nothing but a single photo, along with a letter. Li Jie picked up the photo, and with just one glance, his pupils instantly dilated in shock. The man in the picture, why did he look exactly like him? What was even more terrifying was that the man in the photo had a red mole right under his right eye. He had one right under his eye, too, except his was only drawn on with a red eyeliner pencil just because Shang Qing liked it. What the hell was going on? A sudden wave of dread washed over him. Picking up the letter, the very first line read, "Hello, substitute." Seeing that word substitute, Li Jie's face darkened. He wasn't a substitute, I was the substitute. Once, when Shang Qing got drunk, she told her friends that she had personally placed her lost love's heart right into my chest. She only married me because she loved that heart, merely treating me as a stand-in. But he was different. He was the man Shang Qing truly desired. Shang Qing had done so much for him. Buying a villa, going through IVF to have a son, and even, just so their boy could attend a top school, spending a massive fortune to buy the entire school. Not only that, he was a model, over the past few years, to help him land more high-end shows. She spared no expense pulling strings across major fashion runways. Every time he walked a show, Shang Qing would always make time to be by his side. Whatever he wanted, Shang Qing would buy it for him without a second thought. He wasn't a substitute. He was Shang Qing's one true love. Li Jie sneered and continued reading the letter. But as he read on, his pupils began to tremble. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. I'm not a substitute. I am definitely not. The letter stated clearly, Lee J. You thought you beat me? You thought you had won Shang Qingyi's exclusive love? But the truth is, you're just as pitiful as I am. Shang Qing never loved you. She only loved that face of yours, the one that looks 90% identical to her lost true love. The man in the photo is named Chen Wenjin. Hilarious, isn't it? He shares my exact name and age. I already looked into him for you. He and Shang Qing grew up together, and she loved him to the very bone. But he got into a car crash and was declared brain dead. And at that exact time, I desperately needed a heart transplant to survive. Shang Qing chose me. She gave her lost love's heart to me. I lived, and became her Mr. Chen. And you, are just another substitute. You thought Shang Qing was madly in love with you? You thought she had a child with you out of love? Lee J, take a good look at your own face. If you didn't have that face, Shang Qing would never have loved you. All those times you provoked me, I only found them laughable. Shang Qing wronged me, and she wronged you, too. It's just that you stood by her side trampling over all morals. You were just as shameful as she is. I just feel sorry for your child. He shouldn't have parents like you too. You absolutely don't deserve him. Lee J was losing his mind. His eyes wide with horror, he grabbed the photo and rushed over to the mirror. He couldn't believe any of this was real. To think he was nothing more than a stand-in Shang Qing had found. With bloodshot eyes, he stared into the mirror, comparing his own reflection to the man in the photo. Desperately trying to spot a difference. But the harder he looked, the more terrified and utterly hopeless he felt. This face of his actually looked 90% identical to the man in the photo. Even their hair length was practically the exact same. Lee J didn't dare to look at his reflection anymore, especially that little red mole just beneath his eye. Right now, it felt like a sharp thorn, violently stabbing into his heart. When he first met Shang Qing, the way she looked at him was so deeply obsessed. It was that very obsession that gave him the courage to make a move. Later on, Shang Qing had him get this mole tattooed right under his eye. She told him that with it, his eyes would look even more gorgeous and he'd stand out more on the runway. Every night they made love. Shang Qing would always obsessively kiss that exact mole. He used to think it was because she loved him, but now he knew it had nothing to do with love. It was because, with this mole, he looked almost exactly like her unforgettable first love. Just looking at the man in the photo, wearing that crisp white shirt. It all made sense. In all the years he'd known her, every single time Shang Qing took him shopping, she only ever picked out different styles of white shirts. Lee J just couldn't process this reality. How could he just be a stand-in? Shang Qing obviously loved him so much. There's no way he was just a cheap copy. He had even fantasized that one day, Shang Qing would divorce me. And when that happened, he could finally, rightfully, bring his son along and become Shang Qingyi's actual husband. But all his perfect little dreams were instantly shattered to pieces by this letter I left. He just wouldn't believe it. He had to ask Shang Qing right away. Was he really just a damn replacement? He called her frantically, but Shang Qing simply wasn't picking up. At that very moment, Shang Qing and Chen Lin had already arrived at the Third People's Hospital. She had managed to find out that my attending physician was Professor Zhang. Years ago, back in medical school, Shang Qing had actually taken his classes. Inside the professor's office, Shang Qing stared at the medical file he handed to her. She was so agonized she could barely make a sound. This is impossible. How could Wenjin be this sick? Shang Qingyi's face went deathly pale. Even her lips lost all their color. Her eyes were locked onto the medical report in absolute disbelief. Terminal bone cancer. Those words pierced her eyes like a jagged knife. Her vision instantly went bloodshot. She was shaking violently. She just couldn't accept that any of this was real. Terminal cancer meant enduring excruciating pain every single day. She didn't even dare to imagine how I had dragged myself through all this time. Suddenly, the image of me hunched over, vomiting in the bathroom flashed through her mind. He must have been in so much agony back then. Yet, she hadn't suspected for a second that I had cancer. What Shang Qing didn't know was, ever since I caught her cheating, I didn't want her knowing a single damn thing about my life anymore. Because she absolutely didn't deserve to know. Through all those endless days and nights, knowing I had terminal cancer with zero hope for a cure, I swallowed the physical agony all on my own. And worse, I had to watch her put on a sickening act every time she came home from her lover. That kind of mental torture, it was 1,000 times more unbearable than the cancer itself. Professor Zhang, this can't be real. Wenjin must be avoiding me. He told you to lie to me, didn't he? Right? Shang Qing was completely shattered, her eyes desperately locked onto Professor Zhang. She refused to accept it. Beside her, Chen Lin was frozen completely stiff. His face was ashen. He suddenly snatched the medical file right out of Shang Qingyi's hands. No way. This is impossible. Wenjin just has a weak heart. He's such a good person. How could this happen? But Professor Yang's next words sent Sheng Qing plunging straight into hell. Chen Wenjin is your husband. He has been fatally ill. And you didn't notice a single thing. Sheng Qing, I am profoundly disappointed in you. You went on national television, time and time again, declaring your love for him. Even an old man like me believed you truly loved him. I actually thought to myself, my former student turned out to be a wonderful person. But what did you do? You actually kept another man behind his back. And even had a secret child. What did you just say? Sheng Qing looked as if she'd been struck by lightning. How could Professor Zhang know about her and Li Jie? And you were supposed to be Chen Wenjin's best friend, weren't you? Professor Zhang glared at Chen Lin, his eyes flashing with a cold fury. If you were really his best friend, why would you deceive him like that? Did you know that Wenjin has no family left in this world? He treated you like his only brother, but you teamed up with Sheng Qing to betray him. You two are absolute scumbags. You have absolutely no right to come looking for him. Professor Yang's eyes were blazing with anger, looking as if he wanted nothing more than to slap them both across the face. Utterly devastated, Sheng Qing sobbed and pleaded. Professor, you know where Wenjin is, don't you? Please, just tell us, please. We know we messed up. We'll get on our knees and beg for his forgiveness. He's sick. He's incredibly sick. He really can't be out there all alone. Please, just tell us where he is. Sheng Qing's eyes were bloodshot. She dropped heavily to her knees right in front of Professor Zhang. Professor, I'm begging you, I can't live without Wenjin. You can't live without him? Professor Zhang let out a cold, sarcastic laugh. If you loved him so much, then why were you sleeping with another man? Sheng Qing, you were husband and wife. True love requires at least a shred of conscience. And you have absolutely no conscience at all. Professor Yang's eyes were brimming with furious tears. And for the record, I have no idea where Chen Wenjin is. He never told me where he was going. Then what about his cancer? Why didn't you tell me the moment you found out? Sheng Qing screamed in agony, her eyes terrifyingly red, looking as though they might bleed. Professor Zhang just sneered again. You think I didn't want to tell you? It was Chen Wenjin. He knelt on the floor just like you're doing right now. He begged me to never, ever tell you that he had cancer. Do you know what he told me? Professor Zhang fought desperately to control his emotions, glaring at Sheng Qing and Chen Lin. Wenjin told me that the two people he cared about most in this entire world had both completely betrayed him. He didn't want anything to do with you anymore. He didn't want you to know a single thing about his illness. He said he couldn't bear to watch you put on a fake show of caring for him. It would only make him feel even more pathetic. Professor Yang's words completely shattered whatever was left of Sheng Qing and Chen Lin's sanity. I'd rather suffer all this agony alone than ever let them know I'm sick. He refused to accept even a single shred of their sympathy. It was a punishment far worse than death. It utterly broke her. Sheng Qing collapsed to the floor, her tears pouring down. She clutched his medical file in a death grip, the icy chill of the paper biting into her fingertips. It was so cold it made her whole body tremble. Wenjin, do you really not want me anymore? How could you not even tell me you were sick? Wenjin, you're so cruel. In that moment, she looked as utterly helpless as a lost child. She scrambled up and desperately grabbed Professor Yang's hands. He was her last remaining lifeline, and she refused to let go. Professor Zhang, I'm a monster. I'm not even human, but Wenjin's cancer is already terminal. He really can't die. Please just give him back to me, okay? He trusted you so much. You must know where he is, right? Tell me, I'll take him abroad for treatment. I can't let him die. I really can't. Her tears fell onto the floor. The once arrogant Sheng Qing, the proud and privileged Sheng Qing, was now crying like an abandoned child. Chen Lin was also crying, completely broken down. He simply couldn't believe any of this. Professor Zhang, if you know where Wenjin is, please, you have to tell us. I'm a bastard. I don't deserve to be his brother. But I don't want him to die. I just want him to live. Please, take pity on us, won't you? Just give us a chance to make amends, please? Professor Zhang sighed and shook his head. Don't look for me. I truly don't know where Chen Wenjin is. I deserve to die. Sheng Qing raised her hand and slapped herself hard. That slap was ruthless. Blood seeped from her cracked lips, and absolute despair suffocated her. Even breathing hurt. She tightly gripped Chen Lin's arm, looking as if she had aged a decade in an instant. Chen Lin, do you think Wenjin really doesn't want me anymore? He clearly loved me so much. He really doesn't want me anymore, right? Chen Lin's tears rolled down. In that moment, he absolutely despised Sheng Qing. He raised his hand and slapped her hard. You still have the nerve to look for him? If you hadn't cheated with Li Jie, if you hadn't had a bastard child with him, how could things have ended up like this? I failed Wenjin. I hid your affair from him. But you are the real murderer. For the past 5 years, Wenjin poured his entire heart out for you, and you betrayed him like this. Didn't you say you loved him to death? Sheng Qing, did you ever love him? Or just that heart? Search your conscience and think about what you've done to Wenjin. Let me tell you, Sheng Qing, if anything happens to Wenjin, I will never let you off. I want you, and your pathetic homewrecker to rot in hell. And of course, that includes me. I deserve it. I brought this upon myself. I'll spend the rest of my life doing everything I can to make it up to Wenjin. Chen Lin stumbled unsteadily, walking out of Professor Yang's office step by step. Right now, he just wanted to find me immediately. He couldn't let me face the pain of illness all alone. He didn't even dare to imagine if I would hide away to face death by myself. Meanwhile, Sheng Qing was even more desperate. She started making frantic phone calls again. Even if she had to turn the whole world upside down, she had to find me. And at that exact moment, my scheduled social media post released a video message. That message was all the evidence I exposed of Sheng Qing's affair with Li Jie and their illegitimate child. I had also scheduled another video. It was about my heart, about the truth of my 5-year romance with Sheng Qing. Just as these two videos went live, in less than 30 minutes, they hit #1 on the internet's trending list. In the villa, Li Jie stared at his phone screen in absolute horror. The very first video I posted exposed every single photo of his affair with Sheng Qing, even the ones from that night at the city square, where he was kissing Sheng Qing, who was wearing a mask. But that wasn't all. I also uploaded photos of their little family of 3, and even pictures of Sheng's mother playing with her grandson. Everything was out there, and at the very end, I attached screenshots of all the arrogant, provoking texts he had been sending me recently. I also wrote a message to all my friends on the internet. By the time you see this video, it should be Christmas. First off, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I'm so sorry that on such a beautiful holiday, I have to show you something so filthy and disgusting. Yes, Sheng, the woman who supposedly loved me the most, has been cheating on me. Not only is she having an affair, but she also has a 3-year-old son with her lover. Because the child is a minor, I blurred out their face. You all must be so shocked, right? Because everyone knows just how much my Qing loved me. Over the past 5 years, she publicly declared her love for me countless times, on all sorts of occasions. She knew I loved collecting vintage watches, so she'd fly all over the world just to win astronomically priced pieces for me at auctions. I have a bad heart. She told me she'd get her tubes tied so we wouldn't have to have kids, because she was afraid they'd inherit my condition. She even hired a private medical team for me to take care of my heart condition year-round. You guys will definitely say, since Sheng Qing treated me so well, her affair must have just been a moment of weakness. You might even say that she probably just made a mistake, and that I should forgive her. But what you don't know is that she never actually loved me. She only loved my heart. The video down below is the story behind my heart. You'll all understand once you watch it. I'm not trying to say how pitiful I am, and I'm not trying to play the victim. I just want everyone to know that Sheng Qing's love for me was nothing but an act. While I foolishly sacrificed 5 years of my youth, giving her the most tragic love of my entire life. I'm an orphan. I came into this world completely alone. I had never felt any real warmth or affection. It was Sheng Qing who gave me a home. She was the one who brought light into my life. But in the end, she was also the one who dragged me back into the endless dark. For the past 3 months since finding out about her affair, I've been enduring psychological torture, every single day. That's right, I have cancer, terminal, and I'm going to leave Sheng Qing all alone, in this life and the next. I never want to see her again. Seeing the words terminal cancer, Li Jie's blood ran completely cold. He had absolutely no idea I had been sick all this time, yet he still sent those taunting messages. Panicking, his fingers trembled as he clicked open the comments under the video. In less than half an hour, there were already over 10,000 comments. He clicked on the top comments. Oh my god, Sheng Qing is such a massive scumbag. I really can't believe that she flaunts her relationship every single day, but doesn't even truly love Chen Wenjin. I was actually moved by her supposed love back then. I even envied Chen Wenjin for being the luckiest man on earth, but it turns out, she was just using him as a stand-in. And Chen Wenjin even got a terminal illness. He must have gotten sick from the sheer stress of being tormented by her and that homewrecker. Just look at those taunting comments posted by that homewrecker. It's absolutely sickening. How does he even have the nerve to send that to her actual husband? And to go as far as having a secret kid through IVF? It's just sickening. A love child like that shouldn't even exist in this world. Chen Wenjin is seriously way too nice. I can't believe he actually blurred out the kid's face. We totally should have seen what that little mistake looks like. And hey, Li Jie's runway show at the city plaza the other day. I was actually there. I even won a gold bar in their lucky draw. I never would have guessed that the whole event was just Sheng Qing throwing a party for her little side piece. If I had known, I would have trashed the place right then and there. Girls, we absolutely cannot let these two scumbags off the hook. Quick, can some hacker please dig up that homewrecker's address? We can't let trash like that ruin our marriages. Let's go over there and teach him a lesson he won't forget. The internet is full of pros. In a matter of minutes, Lee Jae's personal info was dumped all over the web. Even his son's details got leaked right along with it. Lee Jae was absolutely terrified. Clutching his phone with a dead pale face, he frantically dialed Sheng Qingyi's number. But no matter how many times he called, she just wouldn't pick up. Furious, he ended up texting me instead. Chen Wenjin, look, I know you hate me, but you getting cancer. What does that have to do with me? It's not like I'm the one who gave it to you. You're only doing this to get the internet to attack me. Well, let me tell you something. It's not gonna work. Even if I'm just the stand-in Sheng Qing chose, I'm still way better than you. At least I actually have a child with her. She didn't even want to have a kid with you. You're so pathetic. Lee Jae fired off all sorts of hateful texts, but every single one of them was met with dead silence. The snow in Zhencheng kept falling. Sheng Qingyi's mind was completely blank. She had no idea how she even walked out of the hospital, and couldn't remember crossing the endless streets. Making her way home, step by painful step. All she knew was, the moment she walked through the door, my presence was entirely gone. She sat all alone in the rocking chair out back, her eyes locked onto the Christmas tree I had set up for her. The string lights sparkled brightly, and that soft glow finally made her break down in tears. Meanwhile, the Sheng family was getting hit with an unprecedented wave of online hate. Sheng Corporation stock was in a free fall, and the internet was completely flooded with furious comments. People were even forming groups to show up at her mother's mansion, wanting to see exactly how she was raising her illegitimate grandson. Her mother was absolutely terrified. She called Sheng Qing over and over again, but couldn't get through at all. Left with no choice, she called Chen Lin. She had Chen Lin secretly sneak her over to Sheng Qingyi's place. The second they arrived at the villa, she saw her daughter slouched miserably in the backyard. Furious, she stormed right over and slapped her across the face. Are you out of your mind? Look at the internet, it's completely blowing up. What the hell is wrong with you? Why weren't you picking up my calls? Our pharmaceutical stocks are totally tanking. Have you not even watched the news? And worse, everything between you and Lee Jae just got completely exposed by Chen Wenjin. He even leaked the info about my precious grandson. Her mother kept ranting. What on earth is going through Chen Wenjin's head? How could he be so incredibly heartless? I mean, no matter what happened, you saved his life 5 years ago. You're the reason he's even alive today. And instead of being grateful, he turns around and kicks you while you're down? He has absolutely no conscience. Mom, don't you dare talk about Chen Wenjin like that. Sheng Qingyi's eyes were bloodshot red. Like an enraged lion, she glared fiercely at her mother. This isn't Wenjin's fault. It's all my fault. I'm the one who failed him. Do you have any news about where he is? She stared intently at Chen Lin. Chen Lin handed his phone to her. Look at the headlines first. Wenjin posted everything about your affair with Lee Jae all over the internet. He also posted about his heart condition. Besides, didn't you tell Lee Jae to stay away from Wenjin? Just look, not only did Lee Jae provoke him, he even verbally harassed and taunted him, Chen Lin said through gritted teeth. My guess is that Wenjin couldn't take Lee Jae's taunts anymore, and that's why he left. Or maybe Lee Jae wanted to force him out to take his place, and deliberately hired someone to kidnap him. Sheng Qing stared fixedly at the phone screen. Seeing the accusations I had written against her, she completely lost her mind. No, he can't leave me. I love him. I absolutely cannot let him leave me. Her mother slapped her hard across the face. Are you out of your mind? At a time like this, you still love him? He's trying to destroy you. Can't you see that? Mom, even if he does destroy me, I deserve it. I'm the one who cheated with Lee Jae. I'm the one who had a child with him. I failed him. I brought this on myself. Her mother trembled with fury. You are the sole heir to the Sheng family. I never agreed to you marrying Chen Wenjin in the first place. He has a heart condition. He can't even have children. But our Sheng family needs you to carry on the bloodline. So, I arranged Lee Jae for you. What did you just say? Sheng Qing stared intently at her mother, with a look of pure disbelief. She had run into Lee Jae at a charity gala. She had drank too much that night, and Lee Jae happened to be a guest model for the runway show. He was the one who helped her into the hotel room. In her drunken state, she had actually mistaken Lee Jae for her dead first love. And in a haze of confusion, they slept together. Later, Lee Jae pressured her into going abroad for IVF to have his child. It was also her mother who took every measure to ensure the pregnancy was a success, giving Lee Jae a son. Her mother had told her back then that as long as she gave Lee Jae an heir for the Sheng family, she would stop interfering in our marriage. That was why she had agreed to have Lee Jae's child. She never imagined that her encounter with Lee Jae was entirely orchestrated by her own mother. She screamed, "What did you just say? You set me up with Lee Jae?" Her mother stopped pretending and laid all her cards on the table. Raising an eyebrow, she sneered at Sheng Qing. Chen Wenjin has a congenital heart defect. He is completely unfit to have children. I had no choice but to find someone else for you. I knew you could never forget your dead first love, so I went and found a man who looked exactly like him and had him approach you. What are you saying? Shang Qing broke down completely. The truth was too much for her to bear. She had always believed that her meeting with Li Jie was an accident, and she had tried to compensate him immediately after her mistake. But she never expected this to be the ugly truth. Even Chen Lin stared at her mother in utter shock. You were the one who arranged it? Why would you do such a thing? Has Chen Wenjin ever treated you poorly all these years? Every time you were sick, he was the one staying by your side to take care of you. Is all this still not enough? A flash of guilt crossed Mother Sheng's eyes, but it quickly vanished. She argued self-righteously. Liman, he's great, sure. But isn't he just a stand-in that Qing found? What? Li, Qing, Xian, don't tell me you've actually fallen for this cheap knockoff. Besides, you are the only daughter of the Sheng family. How could I ever let the Sheng family bloodline die out? Chen Wenjin is in no condition to have kids. So I found someone else to plant a seed for the Sheng family. Is that a crime? Then what did Wenjin do wrong? Does he deserve to be strung along by you people? Chen Lin couldn't take it anymore. Right now, he wanted nothing more than to beat Mother Sheng to death. How can a person be this utterly shameless? Shang Qingyi's eyes were filled with absolute despair and fury. She glared venomously at her mother. It was you. You drove Wenjin away, didn't you? Tell me, where is Wenjin? Did you send someone to lock him away? Mother Sheng looked at her like she was out of her mind. Shang Qing, are you out of your damn mind? Why the hell would I hide him? The whole internet is tearing us to shreds right now. If I knew where he was, I would have dragged him out ages ago. Liman, get the hell out. Get the hell out of here. Shang Qing roared at her mother like a furious lion. She never wanted to see her mother's face again. Once I find Wenjin, I am cutting all ties with you. We are no longer mother and daughter. You are completely insane. Mother Sheng still showed zero remorse, blaming everything on me. She bellowed, Chen Wenjin is pure evil. He's hiding on purpose just to destroy our Sheng family. I won't let him get away with this. I will dig him out no matter what. With that, she stormed out of Shang Qingyi's front door. Shang Qing completely broke down. She collapsed weakly into the rocking chair behind her. Wenjin, do you really hate me that much? Please, just come back, okay? Chen Lin gently reminded her. You'd better go check on Li Jie. If Li Jie had the nerve to send Wenjin all those taunting texts, then he might actually be the one who kidnapped him. Chen Lin's words hit Shang Qing like a wake-up call. Eyes bloodshot, she jumped up and bolted out of the villa. She was going to find Li Jie and beat the truth out of him. Meanwhile, Li Jie, after calling Shang Qing a million times, had finally spiraled into despair. He was absolutely terrified right now. The internet's witch hunt against him was only getting louder. The fanbase he had painstakingly built for years had turned on him overnight, ripping him apart. Even his manager was frantically bombing his phone with texts. Li Jie, pick up the damn phone. Our studio is under siege right now. Those people have lost their minds. They want blood for Chen Wenjin. Li Jie, you'd better go into hiding. If something happens to Chen Wenjin, you're probably going straight to jail with them. You absolute idiot. Being the other man was bad enough. But how dared you provoke her actual husband? Do you have any idea how massive of a disaster you've caused? Staring at the texts, Li Jie was paralyzed with fear. He never expected things to blow up like this. What was even more horrifying was that all his previous endorsements and brand deals had just demanded to terminate his contracts. The breach of contract penalties alone would cost him an absolute fortune. Not only that, but his life-sized cardboard standees across major shopping malls had all been vandalized with splashed ink. He was so terrified that he hid in his villa, too scared to step a foot outside. He even made his son hide upstairs. He was scared out of his wits. But those self-righteous netizens weren't about to let him off the hook. They finally tracked down his villa. Someone even managed to hack the passcode to his front door, and in an instant, a whole mob came swarming inside. Terrified, he frantically tried to call the cops, but before the call could even connect, a hulking guy snatched the phone right out of his hand and smashed it into the ground. Trying to call the cops? You wife-stealing piece of trash. Not a chance. His actions had completely crossed the line for everyone online. Someone lunged forward and slapped him hard across the face. The blow was so brutal it practically knocked Li Jie sideways. He collapsed onto the couch, trembling, while someone else held up a phone, live streaming the whole thing. Another person rushed over and slapped him twice more. If it wasn't for you, Chen Wenjin wouldn't have gone missing. Let's beat this home-wrecking scum to death. We're just doing God's work. The mob shouted over each other. They started kicking Li Jie over and over again, leaving him screaming in agony. Hearing the screams, his son, Yuanbao, just couldn't stay away any longer. He came running down the stairs. The little boy didn't understand what was happening. He just saw people hurting his dad. He instantly dashed over and threw his little arms around Li Jie. stop hitting my daddy, he cried. His son was Lee Jae's absolute weak spot. Like a madman, Lee Jae curled his body around his boy. Baby, I told you to stay upstairs. Why did you come down? Daddy, I'm scared. Tears welled up in Yuan Bao's eyes. Seeing this, Lee Jae felt true terror for the first time. He dropped to his knees, begging them. Please, don't touch my son. He's only 3. I'm begging you, leave him alone. He's 3 years old. And what about you? Someone sneered. The kid doesn't know any better, but what's your excuse, Lee Jae? Looks like you actually have something to be afraid of after all. In a split second, heavy fists rained down on Lee Jae from all sides. He shielded his child tightly, taking the brutal beating until he was barely breathing. After a while, the mob finally left. After all, they didn't actually want to kill him. He pulled himself up, clutching his trembling boy. Yuan Bao blinked his big, innocent eyes. Looking at his father's swollen, bruised face, he cried and asked, Daddy, they said you're a homewrecker. Are you really a homewrecker? Lee Jae's heart clenched. He would never admit to being the homewrecker. He reached up, gently touching his son's face, and spat out a mouthful of blood. Don't listen to what they say. They're just talking nonsense. Daddy isn't a homewrecker. In this world, the one who isn't loved is the real homewrecker. Your mommy loves daddy, so daddy isn't a homewrecker. Sob. Then is mommy a bad person? Yuan Bao's eyes brimmed with tears, and Lee Jae felt a sharp pain in his chest. Sheng Qing had lied to Chen Wenjin, and she had lied to him, too. His throat suddenly felt completely dry. No, mommy isn't a bad person either. Don't you worry, Yuan Bao. Daddy and mommy will always protect you. We love you more than anything. Look outside. Mommy even built you a snowman, see? Outside the window, it was already pitch black. The snowman Sheng Qing had built was trampled to pieces by the mob long ago. Just then, there was a sudden noise at the door. Lee Jae froze, terrified that the mob had come back to finish him off. Terrified, he quickly shielded Yuan Bao and screamed at the top of his lungs, if any of you hits me again, I'll call the cops right now. I'll have you all thrown in jail. However, when he looked up, he saw a face he couldn't be more familiar with. It was Sheng Qing. She arrived with the wind, bringing a piercing chill with her. That coldness terrified Lee Jae. Qing, you're finally here. Sobbing, Lee Jae pushed through the pain and struggled to his feet. One of his legs had been broken from the kicks, making his walking posture extremely bizarre. His entire face was red and swollen, and his neck was covered in fingernail scratches. The bloodstains everywhere screamed just how brutally he had been beaten. The moment Yuan Bao saw Sheng Qing, he immediately threw himself into her arms, crying, Mommy. Wah, they hit Daddy. You have to get revenge for Daddy. But Sheng Qing's face was terrifyingly dark. Her eyes were bloodshot and even a little swollen. She must have been crying. Lee Jae instantly had a bad feeling. He pulled Sheng Qing into a tight hug. Even through the fabric, he could feel her heart pounding wildly. 2 bodyguards followed closely behind her. Sheng Qing didn't even look at Yuan Bao's little face, and just told the bodyguards, take the kid away first. Without a word, the bodyguard picked up the child. Lee Jae panicked at this and quickly grabbed Sheng Qing's arm. Qing, what's wrong with you? You can't take the kid away. Sheng Qing closed her eyes slightly, trying her hardest to steady her breathing. She stared intensely at Lee Jae's deformed, beaten face. This face was the face she had once loved so madly. Even the red mole under his eye used to mesmerize her. But now, she didn't feel a single ounce of pity. She raised her hand and gripped his arm. Lee Jae, things between adults. Do you really want the child to see this? Lee Jae's lips trembled. He was terrified he would never see his child again. Qing, I was wrong. Give the kid back to me, please? Don't call me Qing. You don't deserve to. Sheng Qing looked at the bodyguards behind her. Take the child to the car first. No, Yuan Bao. As if sensing something terrible, Lee Jae desperately tore at the child's sleeves. Lee Jae fell to his knees, unable to hold back his loud, agonizing sobs. Sheng Qing, I really can't live without my child. He is my life. He's your life? Sheng Qing gritted her teeth so hard they nearly shattered. She pinched his jaw tight. But Chen Wenjin was my life too. What did you just say? Chen Wenjin is your life? Lee Jae's heart felt like it had been slashed open by a knife, leaving it a bloody, agonizing mess. That swollen, beaten face became more and more hideously twisted by jealousy. Then what about me? What the hell am I to you? Sheng Qing, you used to hold me and tell me you loved me. You used to say you never wanted to be apart from me. But now you're telling me Chen Wenjin is your life? Ha ha. Then what exactly are the kid and I to you? Lee Jae was losing his mind. He had always assumed that the only reason Sheng Qing was with him was just for his heart. So she had never even taken him seriously, always making him feel like he was nothing. It turned out he was just being completely delusional. Despair flickered in his eyes as he violently grabbed Sheng Qing by the collar. Sheng Qing, look me in the eyes. Look at this red mole under my eye. Shang Qingyi's mouth twitched. That red mole was something she had asked Li Jie to get tattooed. I always thought you loved me for me, but now I know you just love this face. Shang Qing, does my face look just like your precious first love? Especially this red mole under my eye. Is it exactly the same? Shang Qing never expected Li Jie to say these things. Shock flashed in her eyes. She had never told him that his face looked exactly like her dead first love. Li Jie, you know? Her brows furrowed. Li Jie's eyes turned red, but he laughed like a maniac. He refused to admit defeat. That's right, I know. You probably never guessed that Chen Wenjin was the one who told me. The moment Shang Qing heard my name, panic set in. She tightly gripped Li Jie's arm. Tell me, where did you take Chen Wenjin? Ha ha ha, do you think that I kidnapped Chen Wenjin? Tears streamed down Li Jie's face. At this moment, he realized he was far more pathetic than me. He actually thought Shang Qing loved him. He even thought that as long as he got rid of me, he could take my place. Now he knew that he could never take my place in this lifetime. He was truly nothing but a substitute. It wasn't you? You sent so many messages to Wenjin. I told you clearly to never mess with Wenjin. Why didn't you listen? There wasn't a single trace of warmth in Shang Qingyi's eyes. Li Jie's face twisted into something grotesque, like a demon. He gritted his teeth. I'm asking you, how much does this face actually look like your first love? Answer me. I want you to answer me. Shang Qingyi's mouth twitched. She let out a heavy breath. Yes, you look a lot like him. So, I really am just a substitute? Was there no love at all? Not even a little bit? Li Jie simply couldn't let it go. Being with Shang Qing, he had truly given her his love, even if it was just a tiny bit. As long as she had loved him back, he would feel a little better. But she coldly shook her head. Li Jie, listen to me carefully. The first time we got together, it was actually all set up by my mother. She knew I couldn't let go of my dead first love, and she saw how much you looked like him. So she arranged our first meeting. Why do you think my mom treated you so well? It was just because you were healthy, and could give the Shang family an heir with me. Then what about you? Did you really never love me? No. It was just desire, Shang Qing answered decisively. Just a lingering obsession in my heart, nothing more. Li Jie, I never loved you. You truly never loved me? Then what am I? Li Jie's heart was instantly torn to shreds. He simply couldn't accept this outcome. He had even naively thought that I was the biggest obstacle between him and Shang Qing. That as long as the obstacle, was gone, he would definitely be able to grow old with Shang Qing. Turns out, it was all just in his head. That agonizing, heart-shattering pain tore right through him, making him pull Shang Qing into a crushing embrace. He kissed her lips fiercely, biting down on them like a madman. The heavy, metallic taste of blood filled their mouths. Shang Qing shoved him hard away. Li Jie, what the hell are you doing? Li Jie licked the blood from his lips, his laughter completely unhinged. Shang Qing, you want Chen Wenjin? Let me tell you, you will never, ever find Chen Wenjin in this lifetime. He hates your guts. He doesn't want to see you at all. He thinks you're absolutely disgusting. And of course, you are disgusting. You played with his feelings. Used him as a replacement for 5 years. Tell me, are you the one who hid Wenjin away? Shang Qing gripped him by the throat, almost choking the life out of him. But Li Jie just kept laughing crazily, acting like he had truly lost his mind. Even if I did hide him, I would never tell you. Shang Qing, Chen Wenjin has cancer. He is definitely going to die. Didn't you love him to death? When he dies, will you die too? Li Jie stared at Shang Qing with pure madness. He didn't believe Shang Qing would actually die for me. Shang Qingyi's lips trembled, her eyes stripped of all hope. She locked her piercing gaze onto Li Jie. I would, if I could. I would die right along with him. In that exact moment, Li Jie's heart shattered into a million pieces. He thought he had beaten me, but only at the very end did he realize just how tragically he had lost. He laughed out loud like an absolute maniac. Ha ha ha, I'm just not going to tell you. I did hide him. Shang Qing, kill me if you have the guts. His eyes were filled with pure spite. I will never tell you where he is as long as I live. I want to watch you go insane looking for him. I'll strangle you. Shang Qing clamped her hands ruthlessly around his neck. He just closed his eyes. Do it. Living is far more agonizing than death. The very next second, Shang Qing grabbed him by the arm, dragging him like dead weight. She dragged him all the way up to the second-floor study, hurling him violently inside. Her eyes shot daggers of pure ice. Starting today, this is your prison, as long as Wenjin doesn't come back alive. Don't even think about stepping foot outside this mansion. I will have someone torture you every single day. You better pray that Wenjin is still alive. Shang Qing, you're terrified of him dying, aren't you? Ha ha ha, so even you know how to be scared. Li Jie howled with laughter. Just as Shang Qing turned to leave, he suddenly lunged after her, wrapping his arms fiercely around her waist and breaking into tears. Qing, I really can't live without you. Please don't go. I'm begging you, please don't leave me. I'm so scared of being alone. Even if I'm just his replacement, I don't care. I'll be good and draw that mole on my face for you every single day. Please stay, just give me a tiny bit of love. Just a little bit. That's all I need. But Shang Qing ruthlessly pried his fingers off one by one, her eyes completely devoid of emotion. You give me the absolute chills, Li Jie. I will never see you again for the rest of my life. But I won't let you die, either. You destroyed Chen Wenjin. I am going to make you pay for what you did to him. Pay for it. Hearing this, Li Jie burst into a manic fit of laughter. And who is going to pay for what happened to me? Shang Qing, don't you think you owe me an apology? Shang Qing's back swayed slightly. She didn't say a single word. She just took big strides out of the study. But the moment she stepped out, she heard a blood-curdling scream. Rushing back into the room, she saw Li Jie gripping a paring knife, actually slashing it right across his own face. He just stared dead into Shang Qing's eyes, smiling like a psychopath. Look at this, Shang Qing. I ruined this face. You said you love Chen Wenjin, right? I'll go get plastic surgery to look exactly like him, okay? I can be his stand-in, okay? Li Jie had completely lost his mind. Shang Qing stared at him in absolute disbelief. He carved another deep cut into the other side of his face, grinning from ear to ear. Shang Qing, tell me, do I look like Chen Wenjin now? I am so willing to be his replacement. Just give your love to me, please? Shang Qing never imagined in a million years that Li Jie would go to such horrifying extremes. She just stood there, completely paralyzed. Shang Qing, am I pretty to you now? You'll finally love me now, right? Shang Qing, I am Chen Wenjin. I am your Wenjin. Li Jie's absolute insanity completely shattered Shang Qing's mental state. She had ruined two men. A metallic taste of blood surged up her throat. She suddenly coughed up a huge mouthful of blood and violently collapsed onto the floor. Very soon, Li Jie was rushed into the hospital. The doctors diagnosed him with a severe mental breakdown triggered by extreme shock. Meanwhile, the internet was cheering and celebrating. Everyone agreed he completely had it coming. A shameless homewrecker who knowingly seduced a married woman. A leech who even had the audacity to provoke her actual husband. He deserved every bit of this miserable ending. But across the entire Jun city, there was still zero news about my whereabouts. Shang Qing felt terribly ill. She was burning up with a high fever, and was tormented by nightmares all night long. As for the Shang family, Mother Shang was pulling her hair out in absolute panic. One piece of terrible news after another was dropped right into her lap. Shang's pharmaceutical group's stock prices were in a brutal free fall, plummeting by 88.8%. And if that wasn't enough, all their business partners were demanding to cancel their contracts. Right now, Mother Shang was desperate to dig me up from wherever I was. She genuinely believed that if she could just find me, I could somehow save the Shang family. But even after turning the whole city upside down, they still couldn't find a single trace of me. Mother Shang was completely drained, both physically and mentally. Waves of reporters were swarming her front door, and she was trending everywhere online for all the wrong reasons. Everyone was ripping her apart, calling her a heartless, evil mother-in-law. How could she let a filthy homewrecker step foot in her house? And even help him raise a bastard child? Even her elite circle of rich ladies started to completely spit on her. Mother Shang was being tortured so badly she could barely go on living. She had no choice left but to post a massive bounty online. Anyone who could provide a clue about me would get a reward of 100,000. And if anyone actually found me, she would pay them 1 million straight up. Meanwhile, in the medical school, Professor Shen was staring down at my cold corpse and let out a heavy sigh. Only after a person is dead does the whole world finally start to love you. Oh, Wenjin, I hope in your next life, you never have to cross paths with Shang Qing again. He finally took that heart, the one that never belonged to me, out of my body. Shang Qing locked herself in the house, looking as though her soul had died. Only when I was gone, did she realize her entire world had collapsed. She had lost her emotional pillar. Those antique watches she had sold. She bought them all back at sky-high prices. She stroked them, one by one, then placed them into boxes, and hung them one by one on the Christmas tree. She kept muttering under her breath, Wenjin, when you come home, and see this tree full of Christmas gifts, you'll be so happy, right? Come back to me, I'll stay by your side and help you get better. From now on, my world will only revolve around you. I won't ever contact Li Jie again. Nanny Chen sighed softly. Ma'am, the reporters are swarming outside. They've been waiting at the door all night. What should we do? Shang Qing slowly closed her eyes. Overnight, her pitch black hair had suddenly grown streaks of white. Her eyes looked completely lifeless. Let them in. Within moments, the reporters swarmed inside. Everyone was talking over each other, firing off the questions the internet was burning to know. Mrs. Sheng, is it true that you had an affair with Li Jie? Mrs. Sheng, are the rumors about the illegitimate child true? Mrs. Sheng, how do you respond to Mr. Chen's revenge? What do you have to say? Sheng Qing just stood there in front of the Christmas tree. She had lost all of her former spark. She bowed deeply to the cameras, then pointed at the tree. Wenjin, if you're watching this on TV, please, call me, okay? Her voice was trembling. These are the Christmas gifts I prepared for you. You promised you'd spend Christmas with me. How could you break your promise? Yes, I had an affair with Li Jie. I really deserve to die. But I don't care how much the world curses me. I love you. Please, just come out, okay? I don't even need your forgiveness. I just want to know that you're still alive. As long as you're alive, that's all that matters. To anyone watching this, if you can give me any information about Chen Wenjin, I, Sheng Qing, will immediately reward you with 500,000. And lastly, I am so sorry to all the fans who supported me. Everything is all my fault. Soon, the Zhencheng network broadcasted Sheng Qing's interview. Everyone could easily see that Sheng Qing had reached absolute despair. But she was the one who personally pushed me into hell. Who knows if she's just acting like a devoted lover again. Sheng Qing spent every single day drinking, numbing herself over and over. It was like she was trying to drink herself to death. Her mother couldn't bear to watch it anymore, so she asked some of her closest friends to come talk some sense into her. When her best friend Luo Qing stepped into the room, the suffocating stench of alcohol almost made her gag. She grabbed Sheng Qing by the arm and dragged her out to the back garden. Pointing at the Christmas tree covered in gifts, she screamed, Sheng Qing, wake the hell up. Look at the absolute state of you. If Chen Wenjin comes back and sees you like this, will he still love you? He won't love me anymore. He could never love me again. This enraged Luo Qing, who threw a fierce punch at her. Sheng Qing's body crashed right into the Christmas tree. The star hanging at the very top suddenly tumbled down. The wedding ring hidden inside it rolled out along with it. What's this? Luo Qing walked over, bending down to pick up the dropped wedding ring. Give it to me. Sheng Qing, her eyes bloodshot, rushed over and snatched the ring right out of Luo Qing's hand. The second she saw the ring, she swayed on her feet, shaking uncontrollably. She stared blankly at the ring. They were the matching bands from our wedding, the ones I had designed myself. The diamonds on them were antique gems she'd bought from Christie's auction house. I had set every single stone with my own hands. The center of the rings formed a heart shape. I once told her that they were our hearts. And when the two rings were brought together, our hearts would be intertwined for all eternity. From the day we got married, I never took that ring off. She remembered last summer when I lost 8 pounds because the summer heat ruined my appetite. The ring became too loose, and it slipped right off my finger and got lost. Desperate to find it, I ran through every single mall we had visited that day. I searched until midnight, finally finding it by the fence in the villa's garden. She still remembered the smile on my face when I found it. Holding that ring, I beamed as if I held the entire world in my hands. I pulled her into a tight embrace and said, Qing, as long as the ring is here, I'll be here. If this ring is ever gone, then maybe our love has reached its end too. She had kissed my lips and told me, Wenjin, these rings will stay on our fingers for a lifetime. Our love will never, ever end. But now, I had abandoned even the ring itself. A sharp pain pierced Sheng Qing's heart, hurting so badly she could barely stand. She clutched the ring tightly, and looked up at Luo Qing. Wenjin is just messing with me. He wouldn't leave. On our wedding day, he promised he'd stay by my side forever. He's just angry, he's just playing a trick on me. That has to be it. Luo Qing, watching her fall apart, grabbed her hard by the arms. Sheng Qing, Chen Wenjin is gone. He's really vanished. Over the past 2 days, we've used every resource we have in this massive city. And we can't find a single trace of him. Wake up. He's not just messing with you this time. He truly doesn't want you anymore. And what about Sheng Corporation? It's facing a massive crisis right now. Are you really just going to abandon the company? And what about Li Jie? He's completely losing his mind, crying and screaming for you all day long. He claims that he's Chen Wenjin and says you'll definitely love him. How could he possibly be Chen Wenjin? He doesn't even deserve the name. Sheng Qing's eyes suddenly lit up. My Wenjin will definitely come back to me. I dreamed about him last night. He told me he loved me. Sheng Qing, you really are insane. Luo Qing let out a heavy sigh. Just then, Sheng Qing's phone suddenly rang. It was a call from Chen Lin. Like a drowning woman clutching at straws, she pressed the answer button with trembling hands. Chen Lin, did you find Wenjin? Chen Lin did indeed have news about me. Only, the news was terrible. His voice trembled as he told Sheng Qing, Zhangfeng Villa, you need to come over right now. When Sheng Qing heard the words, Zhangfeng Villa, her eyes immediately lit up. She muttered, that's right, how could I forget about Zhangfeng Villa? That's the place Wenjin used his own design money to buy a house for himself. Luo Qing, Wenjin must be at the villa. Luo Qing, I found Wenjin. Sheng Qing's voice trembled uncontrollably from sheer, overwhelming excitement. Like a little kid who just found her favorite toy, she excitedly babbled to Luo Qing. I knew Wenjin would never abandon me. We love each other so much. He couldn't bear to leave me. I'll go with you. Luo Qing was terrified she couldn't drive in this state. Knowing she'd probably crash if she tried, she hurriedly started the car. The two headed straight for Zhangfeng Villa. The very second the car came to a stop, Sheng Qing desperately sprinted right into the villa, screaming at the top of her lungs. Wenjin, I'm here for you. I'm so sorry, Wenjin. I am so sorry. Please don't leave me, okay? Her voice was painfully hoarse. She rushed blindly into the house, having not eaten a single bite for days. She was practically a walking skeleton. She stumbled weakly as she walked, her footsteps incredibly shaky. She barged right in, but didn't see any trace of me. Only Chen Lin was standing in the room, his eyes completely bloodshot. Chen Lin, where is Chen Wenjin? Tell me where he is. Sheng Qing desperately grabbed onto Chen Lin's arm, her eyes filled with nothing but desperate hope. Chen Lin's eyes were red and teary. He slowly handed a cell phone to Sheng Qing. I didn't find Wenjin, but I found his phone here at the villa. Sheng Qing, you need to brace yourself. Chen Lin's throat felt incredibly dry. He stared at her, struggling to get the heavy words out. There's a massive pool of blood out on the balcony. And your marriage certificate. The certificate is covered in blood, too. What do you mean, blood? Sheng Qingyi's face turned deathly pale. She frantically rushed toward the balcony. A bamboo rocking chair sat out on the balcony, and right underneath it, a terrifying puddle of blood. The blood had long since dried. That harsh, dark crimson color. It almost felt like it was cruelly mocking her rival. She was too late. The place was completely empty. Chen Lin and Luo Qing both hurried over after her. Sheng Qingyi's legs felt like they were filled with solid lead. She stared blankly at the pool of blood. Completely paralyzed, she didn't even dare to imagine the worst. Her heart suddenly clenched painfully tight, feeling like it was going to burst at any second. An overwhelming wave of pure dread violently washed over her trembling body. Never in her entire life had she felt such paralyzing fear. Her lips trembled uncontrollably in pure panic, her pupils shrinking in absolute terror as her mind went entirely, blindingly blank. Tossed carelessly beside the rocking chair was a shredded wedding suit. That was from 5 years ago when we first got married. Sheng Qing had specially flown to Paris and hired the city's top designer just to have it custom tailored for me. Ever since the wedding, I had kept that exact suit safely stored away in this villa. Now, the black fabric was horribly stained with blood. Right next to it lay a pair of scissors. Sheng Qing stared at them, whispering, "No." Her whole body kept shaking, her pale lips were trembling. Her voice was so hoarse it was almost inaudible. "No, this isn't Wenjin's blood." She mechanically turned her head to look at Chen Lin, her eyes totally blank and helpless, trying to find an answer on his face. "Chen Lin, this isn't Wenjin's blood, right? He just doesn't want to see me. I know it. He just wants to hide from me. He wouldn't let anything happen to himself. He definitely wouldn't." Sheng Qing parted her lips and she actually smiled. Only, that smile was incredibly painful to look at. Even though her lips were cracked and bleeding, she didn't feel the pain at all. She just kept muttering to herself, "This isn't Wenjin's blood. He's so afraid of pain. There's no way he'd use scissors to slit his wrists. He's not an idiot. Why would he use death to punish me?" As she spoke, Sheng Qingyi's tears began to fall. Chen Lin was crying too. He was scared to death right now. He didn't know if this blood was actually mine either. "I really don't know. I've already called the police. They will be here in a minute," she said with a trembling voice. If it really is Wenjin's blood, then where did Wenjin go? Could he have been kidnapped by bad guys? He's still sick. If he really was taken away by bad guys, what are we going to do? She didn't even dare to think about it. But deep down, she had already thought of the worst case scenario. Looking at all that blood, I was probably doomed. She just didn't dare to face it, to accept it. Right next to the rocking chair, there was a coffee table. That was the place where I used to rest, read, and drink tea. The table was completely bare, except for a bright red marriage certificate. And the two happy faces that were supposed to be on it, now only left Sheng Qing all by herself. I didn't even leave a trace of myself on our marriage photo. It was as if I had made up my mind to disappear from Sheng Qingyi's world completely. To vanish without a trace, leaving zero ties behind. Sheng Qingyi's body turned freezing cold. She stumbled step by step toward the coffee table. It was just a few meters away, but it felt like it took her a century to cross it. Luo Qing quickly rushed over to hold her up. "Qing, maybe it isn't Chen Wenjin. Don't let your mind race just yet." Sheng Qing grinned at her. She was smiling with tears in her eyes as she said, "Luo Qing, what nonsense are you talking about? This definitely isn't Wenjin's blood. Wenjin is just tired. He just wants to hide. He'll come back in a few days." As she spoke, her tears poured out uncontrollably. In such a tragic moment, even Luo Qing's eyes turned red. I had stayed by Shang Qingyi's side for 5 years. During those 5 years, I exhausted all my youth and my love for her. Everyone who knew me saw it with their own eyes. No one in this world could ever love Shang Qing more than I did. Shang Qing hunched over. In that split second, she looked like a frail 80-year-old woman, her trembling hand reaching out to the coffee table to pick up the marriage certificate with my photo cut out of it. Shang Qing felt a brief wave of suffocation. Deep agony pierced through her eyes as she stared dead at the marriage certificate. She could even sense my lingering scent on it. She pressed the certificate tightly against her face. Finally, all the emotions pent up inside her chest could no longer be held back. She collapsed to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Chen Wenjin, please come back. I really can't live without you. Soon after, the police arrived. Luo Qing held onto Shang Qing tightly, terrified that she might completely lose her mind. Chen Lin closely followed Officer Li, his eyes red with tears. You guys have to look into this thoroughly. My friend has been missing for days now, and there's a huge pool of blood out on the balcony. We're terrified that someone might have kidnapped him. Please, I'm begging you to investigate. He has cancer. He really needs someone to take care of him. Chen Lin's voice choked up as tears streamed down his face. Whether from guilt or sheer terror, his entire body wouldn't stop shaking. The police quickly gathered all the physical evidence, but just as they tried to take the marriage certificate from Shang Qingyi's hands, her eyes went wide with sheer fury. Like a cornered beast, she snapped. This is our marriage certificate. As long as I have it, he can't ever divorce me. Don't you dare try to take it away. Luo Qing hurriedly tried to explain to the officers. I am so sorry, my friend is just in severe shock right now. Her husband has been missing for days. Please, you have to do everything you can to find him. If it really is a kidnapping, no matter how much the ransom is, we are more than willing to pay it. In your professional opinion, the blood on the floor, do you think it's his? The officer standing across from her gave a direct answer. We can't rule it out, but we need to take it back to the lab for testing. Can we come with you? Yes, you can. Soon after, the three of them followed the police back to the station. Chen Lin even provided the police with a comb that I used to use, so they could extract my DNA. In the hallway of the police station, Shang Qingyi's furious screams could practically swallow the officers alive. Impossible. There is no way that's him. He is so terrified of pain, why would he ever choose to die? But Officer Li handed them the lab results. Look closely. This is the blood analysis. There is absolutely no mistake. The blood in that house belongs to Chen Wenjin. As for whether it was a suicide, we don't know yet. Because we haven't found a body. It's also entirely possible that he was severely injured. We are already pulling the security footage from the surrounding area. Ms. Sheng, you're telling me to just be patient? He is my husband. Shang Qing screamed at the top of her lungs. She was acting like a wild beast that had lost its mate, radiating a truly terrifying energy. Seeing her on the verge of totally losing control, Luo Qing quickly grabbed her by the wrists and held on tight. We're at the police station. Please, stop acting crazy. Besides, we haven't even found Wenjin's body yet. That means he could still be alive. Now step outside with me. And stop losing your mind in here. Chen Lin's face was also deathly pale as they dragged Shang Qing out of the station. Shang Qing had completely lost it. She refused to believe that the blood was mine. Let go of me. I need to go find Chen Wenjin. She shrieked, violently ripping her arm out of Luo Qing's grip. Looking like a rabid animal ready to kill. But right at that moment, Sister Chen back at the villa suddenly called her. Madam, you need to come home right away. I think I just found a trace of Sir. Hearing my name, Shang Qing suddenly came back to life. She clutched her phone and laughed out loud. Did you hear that? Wenjin is back. Sister Chen said he's back. For a split second, Chen Lin also felt like she had come back to life. She quickly opened the car door. Her eyes filled with sheer impatience. Hurry, let's go see Wenjin. The car drove all the way to Shang Qingyi's villa. Before Luo Qing could even stop the car completely, she rushed out and ran inside excitedly. Wenjin, I knew you would come back. I have so much to tell you. Wenjin, however, she didn't see me. Instead, she was met by Sister Chen, whose face was stained with tears. Sister Chen's fingers were covered in mud. She was holding a box. That was the jewelry box I had designed with my own hands. The box was caked with dirt. Where is Wenjin? Shang Qingyi's pupils suddenly shrank. Sister Chen's tears kept flowing. She handed the box to Shang Qing. Ma'am, please look at this. Shang Qingyi's chest heaved rapidly. She opened the box with trembling hands. Inside lay quietly a body donation form. A body donation form? Whose is this? Shang Qingyi's face turned frighteningly pale. The heart in her chest felt like it would jump out at any second. Her eyes stared dead at the body donation form in the box. Her frail figure stood frozen on the spot. Her fingers were already too stiff to make any movement. Chen Lin also covered her mouth, her eyes widening in sheer terror. Luo Qing was startled too, and anxiously asked Sister Chen, "Whose body donation form is this? Why is it in your hands? Didn't you say Chen Wenjin was back? Where is he?" Sister Chen was already crying her eyes out. She choked out her words, "Sir hasn't been home lately. I wanted to help him tidy up the lawn in the backyard. When he was home, he always took such good care of that grass. But then, I noticed the lawn looked like it had been dug up. I was worried someone was messing around with things in the yard, so I dug it up. And then, I found this box." Sister Chen was already weeping uncontrollably. "I looked at it. This body donation form belongs to Sir. His name is signed on it." "What did you just say? This is Wenjin's body donation form? That's impossible." Shang Qing forced a smile. But that smile was tinged with bitter sorrow. "It's true. If you don't believe me, open it and see. It really is Sir's body donation form." Shang Qing's vision went completely black. Her fragile body suddenly slumped against the doorframe. "You're saying this is Wenjin's body donation form? But he's not dead. Why would he donate his body? It's not him. It's definitely not him." Shang Qing felt like she was losing her mind. Chen Lin was already crying against the nearby wall. Trembling, Luo Qing snatched the body donation form from the box. She wanted to see for herself. She didn't believe I would actually be so heartless. But turning to the very last page, it really was signed with my name, and tucked inside was a small note. It was written for Shang Qing. Luo Qing didn't even have the courage to hand the note to her. She just trembled and said, "Chen Wenjin seems to have left a message for you. Do you want to see it?" Shang Qing's finger joints were completely stiff. The pain in her chest was so bad she could barely stand. She mechanically took the note Luo Qing handed to her. "Shang Qing, by the time you find this body donation consent form, I'll probably be gone from this world. Maybe you've already forgotten all about me, and are living a happy life with Li Jie. But I won't wish you well. Neither of you deserves it. Also, I'm giving your heart back to you. It's at the medical school you graduated from. Go look for Professor Shen. That heart never belonged to me in the first place anyway. In life, I was just someone else's replacement. But in death, I am finally just me." Staring at his handwriting, Shang Qing felt her legs giving way completely. An agonizing, tearing pain ripped right through her chest. Shang Qing couldn't hold on anymore, and coughed up a massive mouthful of blood. Right at that moment, a medical student suddenly posted a thread online. It was titled, "The Story of the Heartless Body Donor Number 88. Every word told the tragic story of a poor man who was completely deceived by love. Who, after finding out he had terminal cancer, donated his own body to medicine, becoming body donor number 88. But what made him truly unique was that he didn't leave his heart behind." The post quickly blew up and hit the front page. Because someone leaked the truth, this body donor number 88 was actually the terminally ill Chen Wenjin. I gave the very last bit of my warmth to medical science. Yet even in death, I absolutely refused to leave behind that heart that never belonged to me. It was his final, ultimate mockery of Shang Qing. The whole internet was talking about it. All the comments online were filled with overwhelming pity for me. Meanwhile, over at the medical school, Professor Shen finally called Shang Qing, telling her to come to the campus right away. Shang Qing's eyes were bloodshot. She simply couldn't believe that I could be so cruel. Just how much courage did it take for me to be so utterly heartless? On the phone, Professor Shen's voice was completely calm. "You need to come over here right now. Chen Wenjin strictly forbade me from telling you, but honestly, I feel that you deserve to see him one last time." "No, I'm not going. He isn't dead. That's not him." Shang Qing's voice trembled terribly, her lonely figure swaying as if she might collapse. She hugged herself tightly, coughing violently, the heavy metallic taste of blood filling her throat. Professor Shen just said, "If you refuse to come, then you are never, ever going to see him again." In that exact moment, Shang Qing finally completely broke down. With Luo Qing supporting her, she made her way to the medical school, with Chen Lin following closely behind. Every single step felt like walking on sharp blades. Professor Shen was waiting right outside the anatomy room. The old professor's hair had turned completely gray. The second he saw Shang Qing, he let out a heavy sigh. "Go on in. Chen Wenjin is in there waiting for you." Chen Wenjin. Shang Qing's voice was incredibly hoarse, sounding worn out by life. She had no idea how she even managed to drag her feet inside. The temperature in the anatomy lab was freezing cold, so cold it made her shiver. Shang Qing's eyes looked completely out of focus, as she stared blankly and helplessly at the corpse lying on the dissection table. It was covered with a plain white sheet. Even though Shang Qing's heart was aching so terribly, at this very moment, she somehow couldn't shed a single tear. She just dragged her heavy feet, and walked right up to the dissection table, but she didn't dare to reach out her hand. The freezing air felt like it was going to swallow her whole. Her slender fingers couldn't stop trembling. As she slowly reached out toward the autopsy table, the moment she tightly gripped the white sheet, My handsome, smiling face suddenly flashed through her mind. Her dry, cracked lips forced a fragile smile. Wenjin, it's not you, right? Get up, please. Stop messing with me, okay? She slowly pulled back the white sheet. A look of sheer panic and heartbreak filled her eyes. But the second she saw my pale, lifeless face, an agonizing, soul-crushing pain hit her like a tidal wave. My skin was a sickly, deathly pale. I laid there completely bare, having quietly become cadaver donor number 88. But what shattered her completely was the gaping hole in my chest. I had actually given my heart back to her. At that moment, Shang Qing couldn't hold on any longer. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing hysterically. Chen Wenjin, you've killed me. Please, just kill me. Her heart was utterly hollow. In her entire life, she had never felt this kind of absolute despair. A mouthful of blood violently coughed up, and Shang Qing completely blacked out on the floor. In her hazy state, she felt like she was back on the day she proposed to me. I was just smiling. It was as if we had never been apart at all. Shang Qing fell severely ill. She was rushed into the resuscitation room 3 separate times. During her month-long coma, it was like she had already died once. She didn't want to wake up, because the dream world was the only place where she could see me over and over again. As if we had never lost each other. Chen Lin also fell terribly ill. He was completely consumed by his guilt toward me. Once he recovered, he divorced his gambling-addicted wife and then moved to the Zhencheng orphanage all by himself. He donated every single penny he had to the orphanage, planning to spend the rest of his days there, taking care of those homeless kids. On the internet, the furious backlash against the Sheng family never died down for a second. People started mourning me on their own, and every single student who attended Zhencheng Medical College, with reverence in their hearts, would always leave a fresh flower in front of cadaver donor number 88, the one without a heart. The Sheng family's stock prices completely crashed, leaving them on the verge of total bankruptcy. Only then did Sheng's mother feel the crushing weight of her regrets. But it was far too late to stop the bleeding. She became public enemy number 1, forced to flee the country with the child Li Jie had left behind, just to scrounge up a new life. 3 months later, Shang Qing was finally discharged from the hospital. The first thing she did was visit her company. She transferred every single one of her shares straight to the other shareholders. Then, she liquidated all of her remaining assets into cash and donated every last cent of it to the Zhencheng orphanage. That was where I came from. She just wanted to do everything in her power to give those kids at the orphanage a good life. After that, she took a trip to the psychiatric hospital. Li Jie was just sitting there by the window. 2 massive, ugly scars were permanently etched across his face. The second he saw her, Li Jie gave her a wide smile and started mumbling to himself. I'm Chen Wenjin. Shang Qing loves me the most. And I love Shang Qing too. Shang Qing's eyes immediately welled up with tears. She quietly handed the hospital a large sum of money, simply asking them to treat Li Jie kindly. As the autumn breeze swept up the dead, yellow leaves, Shang Qing took slow, heavy steps back into the medical college. She was holding a single, fresh flower in her hand. But unlike the rest of the medical students, they all brought pure white chrysanthemums, but what she held in her hands were my absolute favorite when I was alive, gardenias. She gently laid them right in front of me. She murmured softly, Wenjin, you're not a replacement for anyone. You are just, you. It will always be you. If there's a next life. She choked up, unable to finish the sentence. But I knew she was hoping for a next life. If there really is a next life, she would run to me without hesitation, just to tell me she still loves me. The very day she left the medical academy, Shang Qing went all alone to the Dade convent in Zhencheng. Now that Chen Wenjin was dead, her life had lost all meaning. Besides, the sins she committed against me, she could never wash them away, not in a lifetime. She pressed her palms together, kneeling devotedly on the prayer cushion. Looking up, she saw the Buddha smiling exactly as before, holding a lotus flower, watching over the sea of living beings. Whether they were humble or totally insignificant, in that fleeting moment, it was as if she had finally seen through all the worldly love and passion. A sense of peace slowly settled in her heart, but mixed within that peace was an obsession she just couldn't let go of. Shang Qing bowed deeply to the floor 3 times. The only sound was the chiming of the wind bells under the temple's corridor. The master held the razor, looking down at her. Benefactor, are you absolutely certain you want to spend the rest of your days with the ancient Buddha and the solitary lamp? And never again involve yourself in the romances of the mortal world? Shang Qing slowly closed her eyes. Behind her eyelids, my smile flashed one last time. It was so pure, so beautiful. She smiled, finally at peace. She was willing to endure a lifetime of ascetic practice before the Buddha, just to earn a next life with me. She truly believed that one day she would find me again. And when that day finally came,